CFL season. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers in white taking on the BC Lions. And the story of this game is familiarity breeding contempt. 12 players in this football game used to play for the other side. 8 Winnipeg Blue Bombers used to play for BC, including their quarterback, Chris Vargas. This is the Bombers' second possession. They give it off to another former Lion. Ronald Williams fumbled the football. Ronald Williams lost the football. And it appears the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were able to get it back as Alan Boyko fell on the football. There was one big play in the game so far. It was turned in by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and it was a dandy grab by Milt Stegall for a 46-yard gain.
Milt Stegall took advantage of confusion in the Lions secondary. Everyone chasing, no one was deep there, and Robert Holland just saves a touchdown by Stegall, and that resulted in 3 points for Winnipeg.
The drive stalled down near the BC goal line. Game was 5 and 2nd and 5. Now a wobbly pass over for Shalon Baker, trying to get upfield, but Maurice Kelly wrapped him up. A flag comes down late. Probably a loss of 2 for Shalon Baker, the Canadian Football League's Rookie of the Year in 1995. Dealt to Winnipeg at the start of training camp by Edmonton. And the call is against the Blue Bombers. Holding will be the indication. Almost assuredly the
illegal block.
Decline.
Winnipeg 17, decline.
So Alan Boyko recovers a fumble, but then gets called for holding. And the Blue Bombers will be forced to punt. That means Bob Cameron will come on to kick for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He celebrated his 43rd birthday yesterday. Cameron in his 18th year, a 4-time CFL All-Star.
So he's caught up to Louis. Aren't they both 43 years old?
They are indeed.
And almost as great.
He's just waiting for Louis to retire so we can catch him and punt covered, but it'll never happen, I think. These two guys will just kick forever. A low snap to Cameron, who gets a low driving kick away. Taken by Al Shipman at the 38-yard line. Shipman trying to get outside, cannot, gets hit late, but is stopped at the 42-yard line. The BC offense is led by 13-year veteran Damon Allen, who's off to a dynamite start this year for the BC Lions. He's the league's #1 rated passer through 3 weeks of the season. 4 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. He's completing passes at a 62% clip, which would be a career high for him. Joining him on the BC Lions offensive scheme, Larry Thompson and Alfred Jackson outside. Both are former Bombers. Al Shipman and Mike Tremaine that inside. Corey Philpott and Sean Millington in the backfield, although Philpott does line up a lot at receiver. So the BC Lions, who have the 2nd highest completion percentage in the league and the 3rd most yards, are off to a good offensive start in 1997. Allen begins this drive from the shotgun at the 32-yard line. And now referee Bud Steen calls a halt to proceedings. And it's a time count violation against the BC Lions. One significant lineup change up front for the Lions comes at center. Mike Withicombe, who was the CFL's outstanding lineman in 1995, joined the Lions this week, which means that J.B. Terrace can play guard, and this is pretty close to the kind of offensive line the Lions were looking for at the start of the year. Withicombe, a true center. On 1st down and long, they throw it underneath, and the pass in and out of the hands of the intended target. That'll bring up 2nd and 15 for BC.
Well, defensively for Winnipeg, couple of changes up front. Harry Van Hopwagen will replace Tommy Fagan, and Junior Tongawai replaces Tyrone Rogers, both out with injuries. George Noga, the rookie in the linebacking core, and in the secondary, Andrew Henry, the safety. Brandon Hamilton, of course, the BC Lion last year, joins as Reggie Carthon, Nick Ferguson, and Shannon Garrett is the other halfback.
2nd down, Winnipeg showing blitz, and here it comes. Allen gets outside, fires it over the top for Larry Thompson. He's got the catch, and he fumbles the football. Thompson able to fall on it, and they say no catch up at the 45-yard line. Looks like a catch and a fumble, but they rule it incomplete.
What a play by Brandon Hamilton, because the Winnipeg defense is in man-to-man. This is all-out blitz by Greg Battle, number 34. You see him to the left of your screen. Now, Damon Allen breaks the contain of Shante Peoples. You know the secondary's in man-to-man, and Brandon Hamilton comes off his man and hits that ball out. Now, I don't know. It looked to me like Larry Thompson had it long enough that should have been a fumble.
BC leads the league in fumbles, but would gladly have taken that one since Thompson was able to get it back. Now Shalon Baker deep to receive the kick from Lou Pasaglia. Flag down, and Pasaglia booms it. Baker from the 40. Shalon Baker trying to get outside, but Frank Pimiskern forces him out at the 48, a 43-yard punt, and a return of 7. Well, we've talked about all the cross relationships in this football game. Chris Vargas, of course, the Winnipeg quarterback, was here in BC last year, was Damon Allen's understudy, and said he learned from Damon not to make the highs too high or the lows too low. But so far this year, he's the 8th ranked passer in the league. Shalon Baker and Ted Alford outside, Alan Boyko, Milt Stiegel inside, Bruce Boyko, the twin brother of Alan, and Ronald Williams, a former Lion, in the backfield. And the offensive line includes Christopher Perez at left tackle, a CFL All-Star last year with the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. First down, Winnipeg. The Bombers at their own 48-yard line. Winnipeg with a 3-0 lead on a steamy day in Vancouver. It is steamy indoors tonight. Vargas on first down gives it off to Ronald Williams, up and over to the 52-yard line. Maurice Kelly putting a stick on him. Mark it as a gain of 5.
Defensively for the Lions, one change up front. B.J. Gallus will play the defensive end. He's joined by Virgil Robertson, Joe Fleming, and Dave Chaters. Maurice Kelly and David Mieva, guys that Jeff Reinbold brought into the BC Lions last year. In the secondary, in the middle, is the box of tape, Greg Frere.
Now we'll talk about that in a moment. Second down, Vargas facing the blitz, gets it away. Ted Alford had the ball in his hands, but it falls incomplete. And Winnipeg will send the punting unit on the football field as Chris Vargas leaves somewhat frustrated. Well, on the Winnipeg sideline is first-year head coach Jeff Reinbold, who got his first CFL win last week in Hamilton. He comes back to BC, where he has twice been an assistant coach, a popular figure here on the West Coast, and certainly a great deal of the attention this week has been focused on him.
Yeah, a lot of hype surrounding Jeff Reinbold, and the guys that he brought into the BC Lions, some of them he signed. You think about Brandon Hamilton and Ron Williams and Reggie Carthon, and everyone wants to little one-upmanship tonight.
Cameron back to punt. Good high kick. This is Shipman from the 10. Al Shipman looking for a crease, can't find anything. Winnipeg with good special teams coverage brings him down to the 22-yard line after a 48-yard punt. The Bombers with a 3-0 lead. The CFL Live continues after this.
The CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business. And by Gatorade. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Back at the stadium at BC Place. On the right is Adam Rita, the head coach of the BC Lions. On the left is Charlie Carpenter, one of his BC assistants. And Adam Rita's team's got a chance to remain in the tie with the Edmonton Eskimos atop the CFL West through 4 weeks of the season. And that might have been an unexpected situation if you told Adam Rita that at the start of the year.
And if you told him that he'd walk into Edmonton in their home opener and win that game, he might not have believed you either. But the Lions got out to an early lead in that one and hung on to win it. And feather in their cap. Edmonton hadn't lost that one in, what, 10 years?
14.
14, yeah.
1983. Winnipeg, the last team to beat them in their home opener. On first down, the toss goes to Corey Philpott. Philpott puts his head down and picks up maybe a couple of yards. The stop is made by Greg Battle. Corey Philpott in 1995 set the Canadian Football League record for touchdowns with 22. But getting him to the end zone has really been a problem since then.
Only 2 this year and only 1 rushing touchdown last year. That's a slump for him. But the BC Lions, Joe Paopao used Corey Philpott last year differently than he did when he scored the 22, because last year it was Sean Millington who got the ball down there in the inside the 5-yard line.
On second and long, now Allen on this reverse option will come up and throw it. The pass is over the head of the intended target, Larry Thompson, incomplete. And BC will once again be forced to punt, and we've seen a lot of that shuttle pass or reverse option from the shotgun this year.
And obviously so is Colin Scrivener, because he eliminated Corey Philpott on the play. Just to the right of your screen, Corey Philpott was pancaked by Colin Scrivener, and Damon Allen had no one to pitch that ball to, and he just tried to get it out there to Larry Thompson, but that play was over thanks to Colin Scrivener.
Lou Pasaglia to put it away to Shalon Baker, who stands at his own 45-yard line. This is Baker from the 50. Gets across midfield before he's thrown down by Maurice Kelly, and a flag comes down at the end of the return. A 38-yard punt by Lou Pasaglia, and the return may be helped by a penalty against the BC Lions on the return.
Well, Maurice Kelly went to the outside.
Offsides to call against Winnipeg. It's a face mask against BC.
I was going to say Maurice Kelly wasn't over aggressive on the sideline, but he must have reached around and got his hand in the face mask.
Jeff Reinbold looking on intently, and of course, although he's a head coach, he still pays special attention to special teams.
Oh yeah, that's his responsibility. Jeff Reinbold takes all the special teams, and he runs the meetings, does all the X's and O's, takes a lot of pride in special teams. Always has.
Offside. Winnipeg, major foul, face mask, BC number 85.
And I think that means we do it over again. And Lou Pasaglia does indeed come back on the field, so BC will be forced to kick it over again, and Winnipeg should enjoy great field position here as the Lions will be moved back to their own 13-yard line, meaning Pasaglia will punt from the end zone.
This really is a Winnipeg advantage for two reasons. One, the field position. The other is the cover team is already tired. They just went through a 40-yard sprint. Now they got to go line up and do it again, and this is when you can break one.
Now Baker lined up on the BC side of midfield, actually creeping up to the 50. So the Bombers should enjoy great field position. Pasaglia gets a good kick away. Baker from the 53, a flag down again. And Baker bounces away from the first wave, but is finally brought down. Brad Yamoka helps to make the stop. A 44-yard punt by Pasaglia. And a return of about 7. Now, what's the flag about? It appears to be against Winnipeg. Now they're talking over with Lou Pasaglia.
The way Louis was talking there, it looked like they might kick it again, but
he's 43 years old.
Winnipeg 85. That penalty is declined. Holding. Winnipeg 13. That penalty is accepted.
So they'll take the penalty against Kesley Parent. And as a result,
give me your number, will you please?
13, Jeff.
Kesley Parent.
Get off the field.
Well, if Louis takes the first penalty, he kicks it again.
Yeah, he's 43 years old.
43. He says, oh, yeah.
How many times do I got to run down the field?
I've kicked it twice. That's enough for this series. Let's take the other penalty.
The field position now evaporates for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who begin at their own 47-yard line. In a penalty-filled first quarter here at the stadium at BC Place. On first down, the give goes to Ronald Williams, and Williams dives across the 50 up to the 52-yard line. Ronald Williams is a BC Lion last year, averaged 5.8 yards a carry, and he was involved in some of these nail-biters. July 6th in Winnipeg when the Bombers won 25-22. Troy Westwood kicked 2 field goals in the last minute of the game to win it. The other close game, August 26th, BC won at 22-20. Westwood missed a field goal in the final play of the game that would have won it for the Bombers. And sandwiched between that, a blowout at the stadium at BC Place.
And I remember that first game, K.D. Williams blocked a punt to set up the game-winning field goal for Winnipeg.
Second down, Vargas swinging it out there, looking for Ted Alford, and the Vargas to Alford connection, which was here in BC last year, has not connected so far.
Well, formation-wise, Gord, this is what Chris Vargas wants. Ted Alford has great speed, and he's out there on David Mieva. Now, David Mieva is an in-between linebacker and defensive back. They like that matchup in Winnipeg and have tried to take advantage of it. Vargas just hasn't hooked up with his receiver.
Now third down, Cameron to punt, and Al Shipman is back once again to return. Al Shipman is ranked 5th in the league in punt returns, and he has been a birder this year. Good high kick by Cameron towards the sideline. Shipman from the 10. Reverses his tracks, and Shipman, good work to tiptoe up the sideline and make something out of nothing. He gets up to about the 25-yard line. A 15-yard return by Al Shipman after a 48-yard punt. Well, Damon Allen, Glenn, is in his 13th year of the Canadian Football League. And maybe he's as comfortable as he's ever been. Likes it here in Vancouver, feels comfortable with Adam Rita, who he's been with before.
Yeah.
And the results are really showing.
Well, and he came in at the beginning of training camp. He had a whole training camp with the same receiving core, the same backs in the backfield. Last year, of course, joined the team halfway through the season. So that makes a huge difference. You learn the offense. He's comfortable with Adam Rita. Now he's also getting more and more comfortable with his personnel. And boy, Damon Allen gets too comfortable. He could have one of those all-star years again. Back in 1991, where he threw for over 4,000 and rushed for over 1,000.
Well, there's one problem for Damon Allen. His wife's expecting a baby.
Uh-oh. Does he have a cell phone strapped to his waist?
No. No, the problem is the baby's due November 16th.
Oh, I see.
Grey Cup Sunday. He'd like to have something else to do that day. Is down on the field is Shannon Garrett being attended to, and he appears to be all right as they check out his left hand. But Damon's a little concerned that he might be busy on November 16th.
Well, you got to think that way. Every player in the league thinks that they'll be busy on Grey Cup Day, especially throughout the season before the playoffs have been decided. But you know, Damon Allen feels like he has a chance to be there, especially with this BC Lion team.
Been there twice before, has been named the Grey Cup MVP both times. First down from the shotgun. Allen steps in. Over the top he goes. Mike Trevathan with his first catch. Gets hammered. The ball comes loose, and they say no catch there as well. That's twice in the game we've seen that. Mike Trevathan really got belted from behind, and the ball came out.
I believe it was Dexter Dawson that puts the hit on Mike Trevathan. He's going to run the crossing pattern, and he clears through the linebackers. Watch Dexter Dawson come up and just lower that shoulder, hit him right in the back of the head, and the ball goes straight down to the ground.
I thought he was down. Dexter Dawson, who plays both ways for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, a receiver and defensive back. Now 2nd and 10. Allen back to the shotgun. Lots of time. Over the top he goes for Larry Thompson, but the pass is too far. And BC will once again be forced to punt.
3rd down line.
Well, that's the right read for Damon Allen. He sees blitz again from Winnipeg, and he knows that they're going to be a man-to-man. Jeff Reinbold doesn't. It's no secret what he wants to play on defense. He wants to play press coverage. He wants to send a lot of people. He's got confidence in his secondary that they can do the job. Damon Allen knows it. The Lions know it. They just have to execute.
And Busaglia once again is back to punt. And Shalon Baker back deep to receive. Lions have been hemmed deep in their own territory for most of the football game so far. Baker from the 40. Nothing doing. Dives ahead for maybe 3 yards. Stephen Glenn rather makes the stop. A 45-yard punt, a return of 5. But Winnipeg will once again start pretty close to midfield. And we mentioned it's a hot, hot day in Vancouver. It's warm inside the Dome tonight. There's another reason it's warm in here. They're expecting their biggest crowd of the year so far. Fans lined up dozens deep outside to buy tickets, and the Stadium at BC Place still filling up. So David Braley, the owner here, with a big smile on his face tonight.
Of course, we had the great crowd last night in Calgary, 30,000 plus to watch. Pretty good football game with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's good to see.
Vargas on first down from the shotgun. Lots of time. Swings it out there for Shalon Baker. Baker makes the catch, makes the move. Oh, man, he gets belted at the sideline. Down to the 40-yard line. A flag is down behind the play. It's a 26-yard pickup. But this may be added to as roughing the passer, maybe the call.
Roughing the passer, BC 74.
Dave Chaters is called for roughing the passer, so to the 26-yard gain at 15. Big play, Winnipeg.
Well, Chris Vargas hesitates a little bit to allow Shalon Baker to get open, and Dave Chaters has him dead to rights right here. Takes 4 steps, and a good call by the officials. Dave Chaters is well known throughout the league for taking a couple of shots on the quarterback and let him know he's in there, and that's a good call. Got to protect the quarterback.
What a move by Shalon Baker as well, who got belted at the end of the play by, it appeared to be Greg Frères. Now first down, Winnipeg to the BC 25. Ronald Williams tiptoeing his way through the defense, a gain of 5 down to the 20. Ronald Williams took over for Corey Philpott. when Philpott was hurt last year. And as we mentioned, a 5.8-yard average per carry. And there were those who wondered if maybe it would be a Williams-Philpott battle for a job this year. But Williams wound up in Winnipeg.
Yeah, Joe Powell loved to have Ron Williams as a backup to Corey Philpott last year. As you mentioned, Gordy had over 500 yards rushing in that season and a couple of touchdowns. And they were real comfortable if Corey Philpott got hurt to put him in. So Powell and Reinbold happy to have him in Winnipeg.
2nd and 5. Vargas, quick drop over the middle. He's got Ted Alford. Alford loops back, now has the first down as he gets down to the 10-yard line. It's a pickup of 10 and a Winnipeg first down. And that's the end of the opening quarter. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers with a field goal in their opening possession with a 3-0 lead on the BC Lions. The CFL Live returns to BC Place in a moment.
And welcome to our CFL Live studios. I'm Rod Smith, along with the coach Bob Obilovich, Les Brown, and Marty York. Well, you know, defense, it's the second straight game where it's been very low scoring to start things off, but Les, defense hasn't been textbook, especially for BC so far.
Well, being a defensive back again, one of the things that upsets me and probably most defensive coordinators in this league is when you get beat deep in a zone. And that's what set up the first touchdown for Winnipeg, or not the first touchdown, the first field goal for Winnipeg, is that they were in a 3-deep zone. Guy runs straight up the seam, and he gets beat deep because the corner didn't come off his man in time enough to pick it up. And if you can see it here, see the corner running to him late. That's his man. He is in his zone right there. You should abandon your man that's in front of you and get to that deep guy right away because that is your zone. And that didn't happen, and that always bugs me. And I think that all corners should know that if you're in a 3-deep zone, ignore the man that's in front of you and pay attention to the 2 guys that's inside of you.
The biggest change for the Lions offense, Obi, coming into this game at center, Mike Withacombe in and Bradley out. How much of a change? Obviously, the first quarter isn't a great indication, but how much do you expect that to make a difference for BC's offense?
Well, I think they've been concerned with Bradley playing center. He's been a good offensive lineman for the Argonauts last year, but at center he was having some problems, and Withacombe was picked the outstanding offensive lineman in the league 2 years ago. So they're hard to figure out because on paper, the BC Lions, personnel-wise, as a unit, they should be as good as anybody in the league, and they seem to have a lot of problems getting it together.
I thought they were going to come out all fired up tonight. Damon Allen is leading the league in passing efficiency. I thought he was going to be hot, and they look pretty, I think they're lackadaisical tonight. I don't understand it with all the hype surrounding this game.
A lot of 2-and-out so far in this game. It is Winnipeg up by 3. The second quarter we go back to BC Place.
And the big crowd.
Thanks, guys. The Bombers with a 3-0 lead on the BC Lions, and Winnipeg begins the second quarter. 1st and 10, we'll say, from just outside the 10. Hard to say if the Bombers could get a first down without scoring, but right now, I think just scoring is the concern for them. Chris Vargas has thrown just 2 touchdown passes all year, and the Winnipeg offense has been one of the CFL's least productive early on. First down. They give it off to Ronald Williams right through the heart of the defense. Williams down to the 5, but a flag comes down at the end of the play, and holding will be the call against Winnipeg. The first quarter numbers.
Holding. Winnipeg 57.
Holding the call against Brett McNeil. The first quarter numbers show the BC Lions with just 1 first down and 15 net yards. Twice, though, the Lions had apparent catches taken away when the ball came loose after contact. Now, the Lions get a break here as the holding call goes against Winnipeg, and the Bombers now back to the 20.
Yeah, and just to go back to that point of the drop passes, Larry Thompson got hit by Brandon Hamilton, and of course Dexter Dawson hit Mike Trevathan. That's not lackadaisical. That's called football. And sometimes you get whacked, the ball comes out.
First down, Winnipeg from the 20. Here comes the pressure. Vargas sidearms it up there. He was looking for Alan Boyko, but Boyko well covered by Maurice Kelly. It'll be second down. And I'm saying what, the Lions kept that page from the Jeff Reinbold playbook, and they threw the kitchen sink at Winnipeg.
Absolutely, and when you get down in this area of the field, you're going to send a lot of people and play man, and it's Tyrone Chapman that's going to provide the pressure from the outside, and he beats the block of Craig Hendrickson and gets right in the face of Chris Vargas, and he really has no chance to complete this ball. It's just speed. See Hendrickson trying to come up and come back to pick up Chapman. He just can't get there. Chapman's too quick.
Now 2nd and 20 for the Bombers from the 20. Vargas, quick drop to the end zone and over the head of Ted Alford, incomplete. The BC Lions defense holds, and Winnipeg will send the field goal unit on the field once more.
Well, Vargas goes with 3 receivers to the wide side of the field, and the reason he does it is to try to get the one-on-one with Ted Alford and Eddie Thomas, who's just playing in his 2nd game at corner on that side of the field for the Lions. You see 3 receivers to the wide side of the field. Those guys are basically decoys on this side. On the back side, you get Ted Alford on the one-on-one. Vargas just couldn't throw the ball in there because he was open.
Troy Westwood from the 27-yard line. Westwood is now 9 for 10 on the season. Make that 10 for 11. 2 field goals from Troy Westwood have accounted for all the scoring. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers lead BC 3-0 on a CFL Live. Once upon a time, they were great rivals in the West, but the Bombers have been kind of vagabonds in the CFL when you think about it. Here's a team that in 1995 played in the North Division, but played in the South Division playoffs.
Yeah.
Then in 1996 played in the West Division.
Right.
And this year is in the East. That's the compass. Unless they come up with like a Northwest Division, that's all of them, man.
That's got him covered.
Leading 6-0, Troy Westwood, and the Bombers kick it off deep. This is Corey Philpott from the 15. Philpott dancing ahead, gets up to the 36-yard line before he is stopped in the play by Davis Pitcher. Well, Damon Allen's off to a slow start for the BC Lions, completing just 1 of his first 7 passes. This against form for a guy who's been off to a quick start, as we mentioned, completing 62% of his passes through the first 3 weeks of the season.
1 for 7. He had a couple dropped because of big hits on the defensive side of the football, and he's had to go deep a couple of times because that's what the defense has told him to do. So when you go deep, your percentages drop.
Lions start at their 36-yard line. Allen swings it out there for Corey Philpott. Gets the first block, but you know what? It was a hold by Sean Millington. And not much of a gain by Philpott, maybe 4, and it won't matter anyway, as Sean Millington will be flagged for holding.
Yeah, Millington is going to be the guy who got scouted up there initially and get the first block on Dexter Dawson, who's playing the nickelback. And Sean Millington's the guy who gets nailed on the holding call.
That'll bring up a 1st and 20 for the BC Lions.
Holding BC 25.
Millington is right in here. Now he's going to come out here and try to set up the block. Dexter Dawson is going to break up number 5, and he collars him right there with the right arm.
Makes it 1st and 20 for the Lions, and BC comes in as one of the CFL's most penalized teams. The other would be Winnipeg. BC has the most penalties in the league. And here these two teams have combined for 12 so far in the football game. Now a flag again, and it's a flag fest here. The crowd get a little impatient with it.
Time count violation. BC 9.
Gord, Adam Rita has so many formations for Damon Allen to deal with. Sometimes he'll substitute Corey Philpott. One of his receivers will come in for Philpott, like an Andrew English or Trevor Shaw. And now the personnel's different, the formation's different, and Damon Allen has to get them all organized.
On 1st down and a bundle, Allen sidearms it through the middle to Sean Millington, and Millington has his legs cut out from underneath him. As he gets up to the 28-yard line, it'll be a gain of 8. But the Lions need a whole lot more than that. Now they're facing 2nd and about 17.
Now, Sean Millington's made a living on this play right here. He just goes like he's going to block on the rollout by Allen. He throws it back to the little screen there, and pretty good pursuit by Winnipeg gets him down, but that's been Sean Millington's play throughout the years.
Second in a bundle, and David Allen back to the shotgun. Allen slinging it over the top, a high throw. Looking there for Alfred Jackson. The flag comes down right in front of Jeff Reinbold, and you can guarantee there'll be an argument here as Alfred Jackson got tied up with the Winnipeg defender.
Nick Ferguson is in press coverage, Gord, and the penalty comes because Damon Allen throws the ball high.
Call goes against Nick Ferguson and gives the BC Lions a first down.
Here's the matchup right here. Now watch the jam on the line of scrimmage. Ferguson's okay right there. There's no penalty. Now he's running down the sideline. A little bit of hand fighting's not a problem. The ball gets up in the air. Ferguson pushes Alfred Jackson out of bounds, and that's where the penalty comes.
Wow, not many teams convert second and 17 after facing first and 20.
That's what you write in the playbook. We need a penalty if we're this far away from a first down.
Actually, it was first and 25 after the time count violation. Now the Lions have the first down at their own 52-yard line. Give goes off to Shipman. Al Shipman loses the football. Greg Battle falls on him quickly. But it'll be a loss of 6 for the BC Lions, and once again, they're in second and long.
Another different formation for Adam Reed and the BC Lions. He goes with the double tight end formation, something you don't see very often in the CFL, and Al Shipman never has the handle on the football. It looks like Damon Allen handed that ball a little low to him and hit him in the thigh.
11 and a half minutes to play here in the second quarter. The BC Lions have yet to cross midfield. And on second down, Allen stands in, slings it out there. Oh, big hit on Ted Alford. Reggie Carthon unloads on his former teammate, and Alford will be stopped well short of a first down. A pickup of about 10, but it'll leave him 7 yards short.
And Reggie Carthon go and tell all his ex-teammates about that hit, and he read the zone perfectly. Pretty good protection for Allen. He has a good throwing lane, lets it go out there, but watch the hit. Woo! Andrew English felt that one, and then, of course, Reggie Carthon goes over and explains it all to the BC bench again.
So here's exactly what I did.
Yeah, this is what I saw. This is how I broke up on the ball, and this is how I tattooed him.
Sagly in a punt. Shalon Baker stands deep to receive. Saglia with a big punt. Baker from the 5. Beats the first wave and is finally caught from behind. Joe Fleming got there along with Brad Yamoka. A 52-yard punt by Bisaglia and a 10-yard return by Baker. The CFL Live returns to the stadium of BC Place after this. Thursday's such a nice day. Let's play 2. We'll start it off with the Edmonton Eskimos and the Montreal Alouettes playing the return game of their home and home after the Eskimos won 32-0 at Commonwealth Stadium the other day. And then the Argonauts come west to face the BC Lions. Glenn and I will be here for that one starting at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific, the CFL Live on week number 5. And Shalon Baker being checked out after that return. Appears to have rolled over on his right ankle. His Bombers begin first and 10 from their own 17-yard line. The give goes to Ronald Williams out across the 20. He goes to the 22. He was down before the ball came out. And mark it as a gain of 5.
Now that could be a big injury, Gord. Shalon Baker can't return to this game because of the ankle, because his replacement is Sean Graham. Now Sean Graham is a good slot back, a good young slot back. But with Shalon Baker out, Sean Graham has to go to the wide receiver position, and they lose a little bit of speed.
Sean Graham back home in Vancouver, where he grew up, where he played university football at UBC. There's that shallow pass, and it was almost picked off by Maurice Kelly.
Now there's something you don't see every day.
That would have been something. Maurice Kelly was almost gone.
But we keep talking about the fact that that underneath option or shovel pass or shuttle pass or whatever you want to call it is a forward pass and therefore incomplete.
Oh, man.
Maurice Kelly just gets his hand up there and knocks it down. And I guess we talked about it enough that it is a forward pass. Now guys want to try and intercept it.
You DBs, you're always thinking.
You got to get the stat. You got to go for the stat.
Cameron backs a punt. Al Shipman to receive. 9.5 minutes to play in the first half. 2 Troy Westwood field goals, the only scoring so far, and a 6-0 Winnipeg lead.
You get the feeling that that guy, number 1, can break one at any moment.
BC's got the rush on. Cameron gets a great kick away. High and deep. Shipman from his own 38. Straight ahead he goes out to about the 53-yard line. Jumping down to make the stop, Dwayne Knight, a 48-yard punt by BC's Lou Pasaglia. And all the special team stuff going on. There's some nasty blocking, too.
It's a battle on special teams. Wade Miller covering the punt, and I think Brooks Finley might have given him the two-hander in the back.
Wow. It goes undetected.
Not by Wade Miller.
Yeah, he's like, I saw that.
Yeah, Wade Miller knows. He registered that one. He'll wait for the next punt.
The Lions did cross midfield in the last possession, but they didn't get the first down. So here they are again, close to midfield, the reverse. And it goes out there to Andrew English. English around the corner. Gets across midfield, brought down at about the 53-yard line. By the way, my apologies on the last series. I called Andrew English 10 Alford. See, all these guys switching back and forth. Alford was 80 for BC last year.
There's a lot of changes. Pretty good block to set this play up. There's the play action fake. Now here comes the toss, and Corey Mantika is sitting right there, and he is waiting. That gives Andrew English a couple yards to the outside. Corey Mantika set that one up pretty nicely.
Andrew English broke his ankle in training camp last year. Missed all the year. Now he's back with the BC Lions, where he wants to be. Second down, Allen from the shotgun, looking for Al Shipman, makes the catch, but at the 50-yard line, he'll be 4 yards short of a first down. And once again, BC will be forced to kick.
Shannon Garrett, came on the halfback blitz there, and Damon Allen picked it up and got it off, but because Garrett was on the full run, he had to throw that one in a hurry. It was a little low for Shipman. You're going to see to the left of your screen, number 23 is going to flash. Shante Peoples goes down inside. That allows Shannon Garrett to get to the outside, and Damon Allen has to get rid of it in a hurry.
Now with Shalon Baker injured, Dexter Dawson back to receive the punt from Lou Pasaglia. Another good kick by Pasaglia. Dawson over to the 5-yard line. Here comes Dexter Dawson out to the 17. And the stop is finally made by Tyrone Chet. Another good kick by Pasaglia. 45-yard punt. Winnipeg 6, BC nothing.
The CFL Live on TSN is brought to you in part by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
That is the right foot of Shalon Baker, and wrapped in ice. Baker is not sure if he and his ankle will be back in this football game. He twisted it on a punt return. And so now the rookie of the year from 2 years ago on the sidelines, and Sean Graham taking his place. Bombers start at the 17-yard line. The toss goes to Ronald Williams, and Williams with a good carry out across the 30 to 31-yard line. Robert Holland finally makes the stop, and Ron Williams has his best carry of the game.
Good acceleration by Ron Williams at the point of attack, gets him these yards. He picks up that pitch from Chris Vargas, and he only has a little bit of a seam for just a second. You see the pulling guards right there, and he doesn't have much room. Tyrone Chapman gets spun around, and Ron Williams is in the secondary.
And Holland almost got the face mask. First down, Winnipeg. Back to Williams. And he just carries the pile up to the 35-yard line. David Mava and others in to make the stop as Jeff Reinbold encourages his Winnipeg team to get moving. 6:40 to go here in the first half.
Well, that's maybe easier said than done with the heat in this dome. And I played in here in the summer, and it gets like you can't breathe in there. It's tough to concentrate. The crowd can be loud at times, and it gets really hot. So to get those big guys back and forth from the huddle to the plate, it's a little easier said than done.
The outside on the main level of the stadium, BC Place, lined with glass. You get the true meaning of the greenhouse effect in here. Second down, draw play. Williams, first down, and then some. Look at Ron Williams go. Robert Holland finally brings him down, but not before Williams gets down to the 33-yard line. It's a pickup of 42 yards for the former BC Lion.
Kai Bjorn and Greg Hendrickson on this side of the field are going to open it up for Ron Williams on the draw play. You see the pull, and he's off to the races. The key block from Bjorn, and away he goes. Now it's a foot race, and Robert Holland saves a touchdown.
And he outran Bruce Boyko. Boyko trying to throw a block for him, couldn't catch up. Now they go back to the ground, but this time it's Leonard Jean-Pierre. Jean-Pierre in there to give a rest.
We just talked about the heat. Sorry, Gord, we just talked about the heat, and see Ron Williams after that run had to go and get a rest on the sideline, a little water.
There's Williams getting a breath, and there's the fans that matter here at the stadium at BC Place. It's Fan Appreciation Day in Vancouver.
I tell you what, every one of those guys on the bench appreciate it right now.
Williams remains on the sidelines. Jean-Pierre in a tailback. Second and short for the Blue Bombers. Winnipeg's been in deep twice, but both times have resulted in field goals from Troy Westwood. Vargas gives it off to Jean-Pierre, and he flies through the air with the greatest of ease. Now the question is, where did he land? He needs the 23 for the first down, and we'll get a measurement.
Well, Winnipeg goes with a little double tight end offense of their own, just on short yardage, and I never can figure out how the officials find where his knee touches.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets up over.
I don't think his knee's touched yet.
There's bodies everywhere, and somehow they stick their foot in there and decide where to place the football.
They do what everybody does. They guess.
Yeah.
And they'll decide he came down just shy of the first down, less than a yard.
About the length of the football.
Williams comes back into the game.
Seacroft Mafia, what's up? Salute Lucille. Yeah, baby.
Leonard Jean-Pierre from Toronto, a graduate of York University at the north end of that city. They want me to say that's in North York. See, I'm learning this now that I've been to Toronto, that you have to get that straight.
Get it right.
North York isn't Toronto. Even though I can't tell where Toronto ends and North York begins. Third and inches. Williams and Boyko in the backfield. Williams gets outside, one man to beat. Touchdown! Wow. 23 yards. They were only trying to get a foot. Yeah!
Great job at the point of attack from Craig Hendrickson, Kai Bjorn, and the tight end, who at the time was David Pitcher. You really only need one block, and that's the contain man. You're going to see Pitcher block down, Craig Hendrickson block down, Robert Holland gambles and goes over the top, and Ron Williams breaks to the outside and uses his speed to get to the end zone.
Ron Williams with his 5th touchdown of the year. And how often do you see that on short yardage? You guys break through for a game like that. Troy Westwood puts the point after up and good. And with 4:10 to play in the first half, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have a 13-0 lead on the BC Lions.
It's really great vision by Ron Williams to be able to see what's happening. Look at the blocks down right here. There's Craig Henderson, Kai Bjorn, and right here is David Pitcher. And that's where at the point of attack he gets the help. Now good vision by Williams. Sees that side of the line collapse, and he breaks to the outside. Now he's got a little help from Ted Alford, and Eddie Thomas has no chance.
On occasion, when a guy breaks through the line on short yardage, you'll see the big game because you only have to be one guy.
Yeah, just right at the point of attack. If you can get the crease right there, you got a chance. And Robert Holland was really the only guy, the defensive back off the ball, that could help out his defense, but he committed and went up over the top, and when he did that, Williams had the good vision and broke it out.
Ex-Lion Ron Williams with the first touchdown of the game, and now Winnipeg with a 13-0 lead on the shell-shocked BC Lions.
Adam Reed will be discussing things with Damon Allen, who, of course, calls all his own plays, and that's the way Adam Reed wants it. And I asked him, do you throw in the odd one every now and then? He said, no, not really. I let him go.
Adam Reed takes Lane back to a whole new level. Troy Westwood to kick it off. And Andrew English back there with Al Shipman to receive the kickoff. This is English from the 25-yard line. English trying to get outside, and what an open field tackle. Turned in by Winnipeg's Dexter Dawson, and Dawson wants to let Andrew English know exactly how that play occurred.
Yeah, but if Dexter Dawson wants to get into a fight, and it looked like he kind of was there, better keep his helmet on.
Good idea. Unless you're going to hit the other guy with it.
Yeah, that's true. It could be a weapon, I guess. Good speed, though, and good acceleration. It's tough to tackle in the open field, and Andrew English breaking to the outside, but watch how quick Dexter Dawson closes.
Now, as it turns out, BC was offside on the kickoff. So they're going to do it again. And now English leaves the field, making way for Larry Thompson. What's that?
Now, if I were going to guess,
potatoes.
I would say one potato, two potato, three. No, I would guess that would be a middle return.
Is that what you're saying?
I have no reason. I have no valid explanation for it. I'm just guessing. It's a middle return.
Well, we'll have a look.
Okay.
Now it's
okay, I'll tell you what.
We're getting lots of it anyway. Whatever it is, he wants to make sure.
One reason maybe because Andrew English tried to get to the outside on the last one and got caught. So
now Al Shipman and Larry Thompson are lined up, one in front of the other. Maybe that's what the signal was. Westwood booms it deep. Thompson from his 20 to the middle he goes, and down he goes. He lost the ball. Al Shipman able to fall on it, but the ball came loose. As it is, the Lions will have the ball up at the 34-yard line. A potential catastrophe avoided by the BC Lions as Damon Allen comes back on the field. And I'll tell you what, that could have been the night for the BC Lions.
Darnell Small is a backup linebacker with Winnipeg and asked to do a lot of this special teams work, covering punts on punt returns. Quick linebacker, can cover, weighs 234 pounds. He can get down the field and does a nice job on that play.
First down Lions from their own 33-yard line. Allen in the shotgun. Quickly he goes to the sideline to Alfred Jackson, and the former Bomber working on the former Lion Brandon Hamilton, and Jackson steps out of bounds at the 40 for a gain of 7.
Alfred Jackson doesn't have a touchdown this year, but he was a Winnipeg Blue Bomber a while back and had a pretty good year with them back in 1994. Had almost 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. This is what he's done so far this season. No touchdowns, but talking to Jim Sandusky, he says if he can stay healthy, he sees no reason why Alfred Jackson won't be the leading receiver in this league.
In the NFL the last 2 years as a defensive back.
Yeah, played corner.
Second down, Allen. Quickly to Larry Thompson. Flags are down. Thompson gets a first down as he slides up to the 53-yard line. Now we'll see what this penalty is about. And I'll tell you what, the flags have really been flying in the first half.
Well, Shante Peoples got into the backfield so quickly, I would think it'd be offside.
Right again, Swami.
I mean, he is quick. And I've seen him run with receivers.
Winnipeg 56.
They'll decline the penalty and take the first down. There's an injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber on the play.
I've seen Shante Peoples run with Milt Stigo, who's a pretty fast receiver, but that was way too quick. And he got caught.
16 penalties in the game so far.
Up on the top of your screen, and watch this.
Wow. Good
full step ahead of the snap. That's Damon Allen, though. Hey, if I'm going to run this far, I'm going to push you or do something.
3:12 to play here in the first half.
Shante Peoples was an important signing. Take a look at the injured Bomber on the field. You can't pick out the number from here.
I think Junior Tagoya, who is a new player for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He's playing his first CFL game. Yet another man from Hawaii. There's no shortage of them in this game. When you think about Adam Rita, the BC head coach, Joe Paupau, the offensive coordinator for Winnipeg,
George Noga,
David Meba, and now Junior. Junior is shaken up. Junior, his left arm is injured.
Junior Tongawai, you got to feel a little bit jealous. Junior Tongawai goes to, you know where he goes in the offseason? Back to Honolulu. How about that?
Really? That's all right, huh?
He kind of slides through there and looks like he gets his shoulder arm all caught up underneath him.
Maybe people from Hawaii go to like the Yukon for holidays. You know, they go somewhere snowy.
I doubt it.
And again, maybe
maybe not.
Yeah, it's all you'd have is like beaches and nice weather day after day after day.
Well, the way he's holding that arm, that's got to be shoulder, rotator cuff in that shoulder. Can't lift his arm up.
Well, I'll tell you what, Winnipeg's really had some injury problems along the defensive line.
Well, Shante Peoples moves up to the rush in, and Dexter Dawson is in the game. Number 5 is a linebacker.
First down, and they'll run to his side. And look who makes the stop. Dexter Dawson, the linebacker. Take that. Another flag comes down.
Well, you know, Adam Rita and Damon Allen saw who was the substitution for Winnipeg. So he'll be holding against the BC Lions, but
Holding, BC 34. Decline.
Boy, you lose 5 yards, and you had a penalty against you. We've reached the 3-minute warning in the first half. The BC Lions trail the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 13-0 in Vancouver. Dexter Dawson's done just about everything in his CFL career. Run the ball, caught the ball, returned kickoffs, returned punts. He's intercepted passes, made tackles, and now he's playing linebacker with injuries flouting in the Winnipeg defense.
He's going to play inside and try and go bounce to the outside linebacker, but he only weighs 185 pounds. He's 5'9".
And BC Lions quickly pointing out where he is. Damon Allen on 2nd and long. Fires it there to Alfred Jackson. First down and then some. A foot race to the end zone. Alfred Jackson. Forced out of bounds at the 1. Jackson doesn't have a touchdown yet this year. He comes up a yard short there after a pickup of 61 yards.
This is why they're excited in BC about Alfred Action Jackson, they call him. Once he catches a football, he's got great acceleration. Nothing fancy about the route, but when he turns the corner on Brandon Hamilton, he's got a great long stride. Now it's a foot race. Now Reggie Carthon has a bit of an angle and gets him out of bounds, but he's got some quickness to the outside.
First and goal, BC from the Winnipeg 1-yard line. Ryan Yamoka, Sean Millington out there along with Al Shipman in the backfield. Damon Allen takes it straight ahead. Touchdown. Damon Allen scores for the 3rd time this year, and BC's on the board. Damon Allen takes it in for the 3rd time this year. And one of the CFL's all-time leader in rushing yards by a quarterback has added 1 to his total, but more importantly, he's put 6 on the board with a point after to come. Early movement. Saglia puts it up and good. So 13-7 is now the count for Winnipeg with 2:25 to play in the first half.
Nothing fancy about the touchdown, Gordon. Double tight end formation. The big guys are in there. Yamoka, see Al Shipman back there, and Sean Millington, and Damon Allen just takes it in behind his center, Mike Withacombe. But this is how it's set up. And you know, the BC Lions have had trouble in the first quarter with formation.
it off, and Damon Allen with a smile on the BC sidelines. They finally hooked up along the sideline because you know what? They've been trying it all game, and it finally worked. Larry Thompson and Alfred Jackson, two former Bombers, sharing a laugh about a touchdown against their former employers. That must be the best part of being a receiver.
It's every play. I was just going to say, it's every play. Whether you're a DB and you make an interception or a sack, if you're a linebacker or something, you go over to the bench and you tell the story. Well, here's what I was thinking, okay? I had the guy to the inside. I pushed him up the field, stepped him a bit, and it gets better. Like the next time, when he tells that story later tonight after the game, oh, it's going to be unbelievable.
You punched the guy in the face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I beat 4 guys. They were quadruple teaming me.
Dexter Dawson from the 15-yard line. Mr. Everything for Winnipeg right now. Runs into his own guy and gets out to the 35-yard line. He bumped into Wade Miller there, and that helped make the stop. So the Bombers now with a lead that is down to 6. We'll get the ball back with 2:19 to play in the first half. And Ron Williams, the game's leading rusher, already has 110 yards along the ground.
Yeah, that last drive by Winnipeg, scoring drive, was all Ron Williams. And it'll be interesting to see how the Lions respond now. When you have another team running on you a lot of times you'll go to zone defense, so your defensive backs can get involved in run support. We'll see what BC does.
First and 10, back to Williams, and he's brought down quickly. Great play there by Dave Cheaters to fight off the block of Ty Bjorn and still get his hand on the ball carrier.
Exactly what we were talking about, Gord. Formation-wise, you're going to see the BC Lions. They're backed off. The linebackers aren't even in the picture because they're not showing. See David Mieva right there and Maurice Kelly come into it late. They were playing zone, and that allows the whole defensive linebacker and secondary to see the running back and help out on the run.
Here comes the blitz on second down. Vargas swings it out there. He's got his fullback, Bruce Boyko, and Boyko stacked up as he fights his way up to the 44-yard line. He'll be about a yard short of a Winnipeg first down.
Little bit of stunt from David Mieva off the edge, and pretty good read from Chris Vargas, who learns from the best. Mieva's coming right here from the corner. He comes off the edge. Vargas sees it, kind of throws it between his arms, gets it out to Bruce Boyko, who doesn't catch very many passes, but picks one up there. In fact, he has one this year.
Jeff Reinbold sent his punting unit on the field, but now seeing that Boyko got him close to the 45, the Bombers will gamble on 3rd and inches. Vargas straight ahead. If he got it, he didn't get it by much.
Depends on where they mark it.
Now, a report from the BC sideline. Corey Philpott has separated his shoulder. He's in the dressing room and will not return.
Ooh. It's a big blow to the Lions.
I think Chris Vargas got the gravy spot here. He got the right-footed spot.
Well, it's interesting the way he went in there. He kind of dropped his head and got caught in behind Dave Van Konen.
Oh, my. He didn't get it. He did not get it. Vargas is stopped short. BC gets the ball at the 45.
Gord, usually what quarterbacks do on this is try and pick a side and kind of slide through the crease, but you see Vargas kind of dropped his head. He got in behind Dave Van Konen because the Lions stood Van Konen up and held him right there. He couldn't get anywhere. Usually the quarterbacks will try and get up a little bit and then slide through a crease. Vargas got down low and couldn't get anywhere with it.
The first turnover of the game is on downs by Winnipeg, and now trailing by 6. The Lions have the ball with 1:38 to play in the first half. Allen, there's that underneath pitch. Goes off to Shipman, who takes a bang up at the 37-yard line. Stop is finally made on the play by George Noga, number 50.
Well, the substitution for the Lions will be with Corey Philpott and the separated shoulder out for the game. Al Shipman is going to be in for Corey Philpott in the running back position, and Andrew English will be in there as the slot back for where Shipman usually plays. So you're going to see Al Shipman carrying the football a little bit.
Now they wish they had Ron Williams. Maybe they can make a trade at halftime.
Well, you know, Shipman's not too bad to be running the football. from the
Good point.
backfield.
What is he? That's the question. Is he a slot back? Is he a running back? What is he?
He's done it all. In fact, when he was in Edmonton for a while, they had him at wide receiver.
Second and short for BC. This is Shipman. And once again, Noga comes up to make the stop, and he's close to a first down at the 35-yard line. Now, will he get the right-footed or left-footed spot?
Pretty good move to get to the outside to even get close to this first down by Shipman. Watch the cut. Corey Philpott type cut right there on a dime, and then right back into the middle. George Noga stands him up with the help from Andrew Henry, the safety. Looks like he did get enough for the first down.
However, a flag against Winnipeg. Offside Bombers gives the Lions the automatic first down. So they'll have a first down at the 31-yard line.
Now, I didn't see that flag. Did he just kind of wave it, put it back in his pocket?
I think it was the old stealth flag.
Oh, the stealth flag. Okay.
First down, Lions. Here comes the rush. Allen gets it away to Shipman. Look out. Here goes Al Shipman. A foot race in the corner, and he's out of bounds at the 3. And Big Al wants to talk to somebody in the stands.
You know what's amazing about this play, Gordon? First of all, Damon Allen has to do a little change up on the fly with Sean Millington, because Millington lined up on the wrong side of the formation. Watch Allen, just before that replay right there, he waves Sean Millington to the other side to take the coverage away from him, and then Al Shipman is allowed to execute the play. But an alert Damon Allen lines up his fullback on the right side, and then, boy, that guy's exciting.
Now a problem for the BC Lions. They don't have the right number of players on the field. Shipman had left the field, but will now come back out.
Well, Al Shipman will take all the reps at the slot back position during the week, and now he's playing tailback for Corey Philpott, so there's going to be some confusion.
Allen's got to hurry. 5 seconds left on the 20-second clock. Football. Allen lost the ball. And it's Winnipeg football. Wow. A big turnover on downs forced by the BC defense, but it goes for naught when Allen mishandles the snap from center, and Greg Battle jumps in there to scoop up the ball.
And it's the confusion before the play that causes this problem. The BC Lions didn't know who was supposed to be on the football field, and Damon Allen had to rush. And when he rushed, he never got the ball from center Mike Whitcomb, who's new, by the way. He just had a couple of days of practice. And when that ball hit the turf, it hit someone's heel and bounced right back to Greg Battle.
What a golden opportunity missed by the BC Lions. And now, with a minute to play in the first half, the Bombers have it back at their own 3-yard line. You see big Mike Whitcomb. He joined the BC Lions this week.
Well, Adam Rita said that Mike Whitcomb's only had basically a practice and a half, and he's going to make some mistakes.
On first down, Jim goes off to Ron Williams, who gets the Bombers some breathing room as he struggles out to the 10-yard line. What a sour taste to have in your mouth when you go into the locker room, fumbling at their 3-yard line on first down.
Interesting scenario about the guy who recovered that fumble, Greg Battle. He was in training camp in Winnipeg as a part-time coach and player, and sat in all the coaches' meetings.
Not when they talked about him.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
You think we should keep this Battle guy?
Yeah, Battle's guy.
Yeah, I'd keep him, yeah.
That Greg Battle's getting kind of old, isn't he? And then he'd go right back out there and show him wrong.
Meantime, Mike Whitcomb and Damon Allen just making sure they're on the same page. Well, you can see it was a fire drill out there as soon as they got the first down, and now on the field, Dave Chaters is shaking up for BC. So lots of players have been nipped here in the first half, most notably Corey Philpott, out with a separated shoulder. And that could be a major problem for the BC Lions coming up in the next few weeks. They've got the Toronto Argonauts coming in here on Thursday. The gain by Williams was 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 with 49 seconds to play in the first half. And the clock now running. to the ground to Williams. Big hit there by BC's number 97, Brooks Finley, but Williams has the first down. And he gets out to the 15-yard line.
Brooks Finley comes over from Saskatchewan a game ago, played the whole game last week at defensive end. Takes a step up there on Craig Hendrickson and then folds back, but not in time. Williams has the first down.
Clock running now, 20 seconds to play in the first half. Back to the ground to Williams. Tyrone Chapman up to make the stop as Williams gets up to the 23-yard line, a pickup of 8 yards and 8 seconds left in the first half.
Ron Williams is deceptively fast. When you take a look at him, he looks like a fullback. I mean, when he first got to training camp in Winnipeg, he was lined up at the fullback position on the depth chart, but he can run like a tailback.
He's 5'10", 210.
And he looks like about 220, 240. He's thick.
And the Bombers will simply down the football on the final play of the first half. So back and forth they go. The Lions with a great chance to take the lead in the final moments, but they fumble the ball away. 13-7 Winnipeg leads. Stand by now for CFL Live at the Half.
Welcome back to CFL Live at the Half. Rod Smith along with the coach, Bob Ovilovich, Les Brown, Marty York of the Globe and Mail. A game that has seen momentum shift a few times, especially in that second quarter. But, Obi, one thing you were talking about before that pass to Jackson, where was BC's emotion?
Absolutely. Winnipeg dominated the first half. They played with so much more emotion and intensity. And then BC finally got the big play to Jackson, and that ignited them and got them back into the ball game. But you can see the difference in the intensity on the line of scrimmage. The Winnipeg offensive line's really kicking their butt up front.
I don't understand how BC can come out and play so flat. You know, when you got the biggest crowd that you're expecting in 2 years that's going to show up at this game, and you can't get motivated for that. For one, you should be motivated just from putting on that helmet and stepping on the football field in the first place, you know, and then for two, you're playing at home in front of a big crowd.
And I'm surprised that Adam Rita didn't pump up his players a little more. They spent the first 27 minutes of that game very flat. There's a lot of bad blood between him and Reinbold. Reinbold came out and you could see he's got his players psyched up. But I think Adam Rita failed to motivate his players, at least in this first half. And it's surprising because they lost so many players. Adam was very upset with Reinbold for taking free agents such as Carthon and Hamilton off the BC roster. I thought he was going to have these guys really psyched for this game, and instead they look very flat.
Well, for all the talk of the ex-Lions, of note certainly Ronald Williams and the way he's played so far in this game, but also to me, the guy that continues to be one of the most exciting players, Al Shipman. Now, Corey Philpott is out, he is hurt. You don't want to lose him, but is it such a bad thing, the way Shipman is playing, that he's filling in for him?
No way. Shipman, they really liked Al Shipman in training camp as a running back, but they had great talent there with Corey and him, and so they moved him to slot back. But I think you're going to see the BC offense probably do more things with him at tailback than they do with Corey.
I think Shipman's become the best all-purpose player in this league right now, don't you guys?
And there's one thing that I don't understand is why don't they put them both on the field at the same time? They're both dressed. Play them both on the field at the same time. Use Al Shipman like Toronto uses Mike Pinball Clemens and make things happen that way. I don't understand it. Take a page from somebody else. If it works, it works.
But Shipman did make a mistake, by the way. He thought he had that touchdown. He started celebrating, did the Green Bay thing, jumped up in the crowd, wasn't on the field, and the next play they fumbled.
You cannot blame that on Al
I'm not blaming him, but he celebrated prematurely. He should know where the ball is.
That happened between the center and the quarterback, and Al Shipman had nothing to do with that. His hands were nowhere in there.
And in fact, both quarterbacks showed very poor execution on those 1-yard plunges. Vargas didn't do a very good job of getting them the first down, and then Damon Allen pulled out before he had the ball.
I don't think Whitcomb and Allen have the...
Had the Lions been able to get into the end zone, the amazing thing is, the way they played through much of that first half, they could have had the lead. As it stands, though, they do trail right now. CFL Live at the Half. When we come back, we'll look back at the week that was. Stay tuned.
CFL Legends, brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business.
He was one of the finest running backs to ever play in the CFL. More on Willie Fleming in a moment. Willie Fleming began his CFL career in 1959 with the BC Lions after winning the Rose Bowl at Iowa. The Wisp earned all Western honors 3 times. In 1963, he became the first CFLer to rush for a mark in excess of 7 yards a carry with an incredible 9.7-yard average. For 7 straight seasons, he gained over 1,000 yards in both rushing and receiving. During his career, he guided the Lions to back-to-back Grey Cup appearances in 63 and 64. You can see more on Fleming and other CFL legends at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton.
He's tough. He loves to run. He's looking at 1st and 10 inside Toronto territory. Collie, a chance to escape away from Mike O'Shea. What a great run by the quarterback. Getting out of bounds. Drummond got the call. Spun out. Ticats need a touchdown to get even. Collie pump fakes once, looking for Thornton. Jump ball. Thornton's got it. The catch made at the 15-yard line. The Ticats have to make this one count. 3 seconds on the clock. Mike Collie at the control, trying to find someone. He won't get it away. Zeros on the clock, no flags on the field, and the Argos have the victory. Lots of time for Garcia. Now he's under pressure. Oh, he ran into his own man, and he gets away. Still going. Down to a 14-yard line. He ran about 60 to get 5. Mason under pressure. Gets away from McClanahan. He's got a man wide open downfield. Now slings it. And Harris makes the catch.
Welcome back. CFL live at the half and highlights so far in week 4. Still more to come in the second half. Right now it's Winnipeg leading BC 13-7. Some news around the league. Montreal and Edmonton met the other day. A couple of key injuries. Tracy Ham went down with an ankle injury in the first quarter, came back, but obviously not playing at 100%. Darren Flutie, the Eskimos receiver, injured right at the start of that game, a rib injury. Both expected back in the lineup when these two teams meet again on Thursday at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, the rematch. Other news concerning the Hamilton Tiger Cats, of course, when they play Winnipeg this week, they will have Don Sutherland as their coach. Marty, that decision obviously based on a very close game against the Argos at Skydome.
Well, I think that's part of it, Rod, but I don't think that Don Sutherland is out of the woods just yet. There has not been a real vote of confidence from the owners yet. I think you got to stay of execution. Their next game is on the road. If they win that game, yeah, they can build on that and then have some, they'll save some face by the time they go back to Hamilton, which would be next week. They'll be at home. If they lose this game, though, I think that they'll fire Southern at that point and give the fans in Hamilton something to get excited about. You know, the Ticats would be 0-5, and I think they're worried about a gate. But if they have a new coach, maybe that'll draw the fans out. Well,
as we wait and see what happens with him, Don Sutherland might get some help in the form of Earl Winfield, because receiving help has definitely been something that the Ticats have needed. Now, this is a really interesting story. Tell me what you know about this with Earl.
Well, I know that that's going to be the excitement that's going to bring the fans back out. Not only is Earl Winfield good on the field, but he's good at the gate as well. These people come to watch Earl Winfield perform. And I know that Earl Winfield is probably on his way to Hamilton as we speak right now. He should probably be in Hamilton either tonight or tomorrow night. He has been talking with Hamilton for about 3 days, for the past 3 days, about coming back and giving them some help. And the story goes like this. Hamilton was hurting at receivers with Ted Long out, and now Prince Wembley also hurt. So they called Earl and asked him if he could give them a hand. I hear that he is only coming back to give them a hand for only 5 games. Now, that has something to do with Earl's previous job as well, you know, and being able to work it in with that and coming back and help out Hamilton. But that is an exciting story in
It's a
itself.
scoop for Les Brown.
I hope that
Dr.
job,
Dirt.
I hope that job he's working at's going to have him in shape to play football. That's all I got to say.
Well, Coach, you know what? I have to say one thing about this. Longevity players who play for 9, 10, or 11 years, they always stay in shape during the offseason. And Earl Winfield is always a physical specimen for staying in shape.
I'll take Earl Winfield in semi-good shape over a lot of these guys in the CFL
Really?
right now.
Well, with Earl Winfield or without him, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, as we said it before, definitely need a win. And they take on the Blue Bombers again. Played them a couple of weeks ago and lost to them. And they don't want to go to 0-5. Coming up this week, 5 on TSN, the doubleheader, Edmonton-Montreal, Toronto, BC. We got them both for you. And then Friday Night Football. It is Sutherland's Ticats and the Blue Bombers from Winnipeg Stadium in Calgary and Saskatchewan. We got more at the half coming up. It is BC Lions trailing by 6 at home against Winnipeg. More CFL Live right after this. As usual, we're live and interactive here at TSN, and here's your update on QB1.
And I got to play that guy, man. You got to get me one of those QB1s.
Les, keep saying that. Keep dreaming, Les. Keep dreaming. Well, if you looked at the stats about midway through the second quarter, you would expect Winnipeg to favor just about every category, but BC coming back there late at the end of the half. Let's head back to BC Place and have a look at the numbers, guys.
All right, thank you, Rod. I'll tell you what, the number that stands out is the ball at the 3 with a minute to go, and the BC Lions fumble the football. Let's take a look at the first half numbers brought to you by Dodge Trucks. You can see that neither team has done much, but the BC Lions minus 3 yards rushing in the first half of this football game. Each team has turned over the ball once. Both times were on short yardage, as Bob Obilovich mentioned. But maybe the biggest story in this game, Glenn, in a game that features so many players that used to play for the other team, is the former Lion Ron Williams running wild here in the first half, over 100 yards already.
He certainly is. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have had a good game plan to involve Ron Williams, some draws, getting him to the outside. He's shown some great speed and great acceleration at the hole, and right now the Lions have to figure Ron Williams out and find a way to stop him, or this could be a long night for BC.
All right, it was a 13-0 lead for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. BC has cut into it somewhat, so we expect a pretty good second half. That's coming up next, but right now, stand by for a TSN Sports Break. Welcome back to the stadium at BC Place, where the Lions and Bombers are hooking up to close out week 4 of the CFL season, a meeting of teams that know each other well and players that know each other well, including the 2 starting quarterbacks. We talked about Chris Vargas and Damon Allen off the top of the show. Vargas is 6 for 13 for 102 yards. Damon Allen is 9 for 15. He went 1 for his first 7 in the first quarter of this football game.
And had he not had a couple drop guard, he would have had over 200 yards passing. And of course, we think back to that end of the first half where some confusion cost Damon Allen probably what would be a sure touchdown.
Well, Chris Vargas is a player that went to Edmonton, and there was a controversy in Edmonton when he was there. People felt he should have been the starter at times. Came to BC last year and stepped in at times, and there were questions about whether or not he could be the starter there. But, you know, Chris Vargas is playing in his 4th year in the Canadian Football League. He's only 26 years old.
Yeah, when he was in Edmonton, Kerwin Bell was the quarterback there as well. And Vargas got about half the playing time, but you're right, they talked a lot about wanting to see more Vargas. And wherever Chris Vargas has been, he's always just wanted one thing, and that's to start. Now, I know most quarterbacks say that, but Chris Vargas would like to, and he's pushed for it every place he's been.
And, of course, Adam Rita on Chris Vargas. He wanted to be a starter. I obliged him and sent him on his way.
Well, there you go. Sometimes you get what you ask for.
There you go. There's your job. And here's your bus ticket. Troy Westwood will kick it off to begin the second half. This is Andrew English from the 17-yard line. Leonard Jean-Pierre jumps all over him at the 30-yard line, and that's where the BC Lions will begin the second half. So Damon Allen comes out, and we talked about it earlier, feeling very comfortable in Vancouver. In fact, talking about this being the kind of place where he could spend time after his career. He has a house in Atlanta right now, but he and his wife enjoy it very much here with their kids, and they might want to make their home here if they can get a longer-term deal from BC. Right now, the short-term deal is his team's down by 6. And Allen begins the second half in the shotgun. Low snap. Look out. It's a fire drill again. And now the Boo Birds come out somewhat as Shante Peoples brings down Damon Allen. The low from the shotgun, shades of Mike Withicombe's predecessor, Chuck Bradley.
Yeah, first game of the season, Chuck Bradley had 3 go by Damon Allen, and Mike Withicombe, the newcomers, had 1 practice. We talked about it in the first half, and that's just a low snap that Damon Allen can't handle, and does a good job just recover it. But there's going to be some communication problems between Withicombe and Damon Allen. He has to get used to the snap count from Allen. Of course, when he was in Baltimore, he worked with Tracy Ham.
Well, he was a guard there as well, we should point out. When he made the CFL All-Star team, he was a guard. Second down, Allen. Quick throw. Larry Thompson's got the catch, room to run. A flag is down. Thompson brought down to the Winnipeg 49-yard line. Now we've got to see what the flag's all about. And it's holding BC.
Number 64.
Mo Elowanibi at left tackle is called for holding. So the first-year man who spent the last few years in the National Football League gets called for grabbing.
Mo Elowanibi's right there, left tackle. Working on the outside on Shante Peoples, and I don't know about that call.
We must not have seen the end of it.
Damon Allen's going to take a hit and get the holding call as well. I guess a little holding at the very end of the play, but Shante Peoples rolls under his legs.
Now it's 2nd and 23.
They need that penalty play again.
Oh, that would be the 20th of the game. Now Allen's in trouble. Across his body looking for Alfred Jackson. He makes the catch at the 33-yard line. But he'll be well short of a first down. And the BC Lions will be forced to punt.
Well, they're going to have to punt. I'm talking about the Lions. They're going to have to punt, but Damon Allen did a pretty good job of getting some field position back. So Louis Pasaglia, who's been punting well tonight, will make up some field position. Had he been sacked back there and Winnipeg was coming with a lot of pressure, Pasaglia would be standing on his goal line right now.
Dexter Dawson is back deep to receive the kick. Shalon Baker, Winnipeg's premier punt returner, was injured in the first half as well, and he has not yet returned to the game, and doesn't appear he will. Pasaglia with a low tumbling kick. Dawson takes it on the hop at the 37-yard line. Flags come down again. Dawson gets up to the 39. That'll be no yards against the BC Lions, the 5-yard version.
Anytime the ball hits the ground, starts bouncing around, you get the 5-yard version of no yards. And coaches, special team coaches will tell you, let's take the 5 yards and not be backing out of there and let a guy like Dexter Dawson pick it up and take off.
No yards. BC number 97.
Brooks Finley got called for the no yards, but referee could have picked about 4 BC Lion cover guys there.
And that's the 20th penalty of the football game. And we're just underway in the 3rd quarter. See Frank Smith, the special teams coach for BC, talking over with Brooks Finley. First down, Winnipeg from its own 44. Vargas, quick drop, batted up in the air. Nice job there by B.J. Gallus. Gallus gets a hand on what an unusual number for a defensive lineman. He wears number 29. He's only 220 pounds playing defensive end.
Yeah, he's up at the top of your screen, and he goes up high. And probably the reason he's got 29 on, Gores, because he went to Lafayette College, and in college he played free safety. Free safety could wear 29. And now he goes up and moves not to the linebacking core, but one more step to the defensive line. So he wants to keep his number for old time's sake.
Johnny Scott, long defensive line, hurt for BC. He takes his place. Now they swing out of the backfield to Ron Williams. David Mava forces him out of bounds up at the Winnipeg 50-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6. But Winnipeg, short of a first down, will be forced to punt.
Now, when you first look at that play, you may think that B.J. Gallus got inside and lost containment, but that was by design. He was on a bit of a stunt to come inside. Ron Williams gets outside, but the Lions know that with David Mieva standing back there, he's got good speed at the linebacker position and can track him down.
Cameron back to punt, averaging 48 yards a punt in this game. Now, you'd think that a dome would favor kickers, but kickers argue against that because they say the ball doesn't carry very well indoor.
Doing pretty well tonight.
Cameron hammers another one. Chases Al Shipman back to the 10. He lost the ball. Look out. Down to the 7-yard line. The punt travels 50 yards. A loss of a couple on the return. The Lions, trailing by 6, are now in a deep hole.
Well, guys, it may not be pretty down here, but I'll tell you one thing. It has been very physical. First of all, with Shalom Baker, he rolled over on his ankle in the first quarter. He said he heard something pop. He is gone for the game. As for the Lions, Corey Philpott, he has a separated shoulder. He's also gone for the game. He may be gone for a couple of games, so there's real concern. And to say the least, it is warm down here. Back to you in that comfortable booth up top.
Oh, let me tell you, I got to tell you, though, Dave, heat rises.
It's a little warm up here, too.
Even warmer up here.
And then you imagine putting shoulder pads, a helmet, and all that equipment on. You're carrying around about 30 pounds. It's a little hot, especially for those big boys, Greg Hendrickson and Dave Van Konen sitting on the bench there. You see Kai Bjorn and Brett McNeil. It's tough on those guys.
Now, penalty against Winnipeg on the punt. Bob Cameron will have to do it again. What a break for the Lions, who are back up to their own 5.
No way, another penalty?
That would be 22, big fella. Low snap, driving kick by Cameron. This is Shipman from the 35. Hammered from behind, he gets out to about the 43. And we have to make the stop was Andrew Henry. A 42-yard punt, with the difference in field position for BC is 40 yards.
Well, break for the BC Lions. Andrew Henry in on that tackle. He's the free safety for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Damon Allen have another shot at it now. Thing is, 21 penalties. I mean, I got to make a comment about that. Come on, keep them in your pocket, boys. That's enough.
Now, they would say, stop fouling people.
Yeah, well, you know what? You could call one on every play if you wanted to.
Even with you retired now, you can do that? And look out. Look who's in the BC Lions backfield. Corey Philpott's out there. They look to Alfred Jackson, wide open. Foot race. Alfred Jackson, touchdown. 67 yards. That time he got to the end zone. And the Lions can take the lead with a point after. Wow, Philpott really does make a difference.
Well, he's back in the lineup, and Alfred Jackson's working on Nick Ferguson in the corner, and I think he slips. Because Alfred Jackson breaks wide open, and you're going to see number 33 right there. After he slipped initially, tried to get back in the play and took a last gasp dive at the football, but Andrew Henry has no chance to run him down. A little bit of a slip by Ferguson, and Alfred Jackson takes advantage.
Now Lou Pasaglia for the point after and the lead. Pasaglia puts it through it. Here goes the lumberjack guy. I love this.
This is great. This is back in the old days, the old Empire Stadium days. They always had the lumberjack, and believe me, I was there in the rain as a kid. Never missed a game.
Tell you what, last night in Calgary, the horse collapsed. Rocky the horse keeled over on the sidelines, and we were a little worried they might bring out the wagon for him, but it turns out Rocky was fine.
You know what? In 11 years in Saskatchewan, I thought we'd wear that horse right out. Maybe it finally caught up to him.
It was like the Kentucky Derby down there on your sidelines. Huh? The thunder of hoofbeats.
Yes. Too many times that I'd like to remember.
Now, if you had to rank the top CFL touchdown celebrations in order, the horse, then the fire wagon, this one's got to be top 3, but look at this catch.
Yeah, and there's the slip. You see, Nick Ferguson was just trying to gather himself at the end of that play and dive for it. And Alfred Jackson's tough enough when you got him covered, but if you have a mistake like that and slip, it's all over.
First touchdown is a BC Lion. And now the Lions lead by 1. Here's Dexter Dawson from the 11-yard line. Look out, Dexter Dawson's got room to run. Finally tripped up as he crosses the 40-yard line. Robert Holland comes up to trip him up. Dexter Dawson's done everything today but sing the national anthem.
You know, when Dexter Dawson looks at the game tape at the end of this game, he's going to say, I should have stayed outside, because he breaks out to the outside and he cuts back right there. Now, if he stays to the outside on that play, he's running. He's in the end zone doing the dance.
Now, I want to know, when he goes into the film sessions this week, where does he go? Offense, defense, or special teams?
He has to go in all of them. It's a little longer day for him.
Oh, great play fake by Chris Vargas. Only one guy didn't fight, and that's the guy that made the stop, Tyrone Chapman. That was a Matt Dunnigan-esque ball fake.
B.J. Gallas bit. He was like a walleye going in there on the great play fake by Chris Vargas. He went way inside and lost containment, but the speed of Tyrone Chapman made up for his teammate's mistake and tracked down Vargas.
Loss of, or gain rather, of just 3 on the play. It's 2nd and 7. Low snap for Vargas. Now Vargas going over the top. He's got a man wide open. Stiegel makes the catch down to the 21-yard line. He was working there on Don Wilson. Bill Stiegel had a big catch at Winnipeg's opening drive. Now has a pickup of 42 yards.
Well, Don Wilson needed some help from the safety, Greg Freres, and he didn't get it. Freres' feet stopped moving, and he's supposed to be in the deep middle. You see him to the right of your screen, number 40. Now, right in here, he slows down.
Whoops.
When he slows down, he loses his depth, and Don Wilson is all alone. The safety's got to help.
First down, Ron Williams. Well, I'll tell you what, he was one player away from going in to score, but that player, Tyrone Chapman, hung on for dear life and limited the gain to about 6.
Well, Tyrone Chapman's made a couple of plays now to save what may be touchdowns. That's just on athletic ability alone. He calls all the plays for the Lions defense, makes the checks at different formations. He's only in his 4th year. He's only really started for 2.
2nd and 5. Big play now for the BC defense. Vargas under pressure. Drop. Chapman again. First sack of the game is a big one for BC.
But it's the 3rd big play for Tyrone Chapman, Gord, on this drive, because Winnipeg has had some momentum, and number 56 has come up big 3 times now. He's covered for his mistakes from his teammates, and this time on the delayed blitz comes up and picks up Vargas and gets his first sack. 3 big plays for Chapman.
Now he'll stay out there as Troy Westwood tries a 25-yard field goal to restore the Winnipeg lead. Westwood puts it up and through. The Bombers didn't trail for long. Now flags fly as we've got an altercation on the field, and look out. That's Christopher Perez and Dave Chaters getting into it. There are 4, now 5 flags on the field. Christopher Perez and Dave Chaters exchanging pleasantries and punches, and we'll sort it out for you when we come back to the stadium at BC Place right after this. The 16-14 Winnipeg leads. Unnecessary roughness, the extra penalty against the BC Lions. And here's the call from referee Bud Steve.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness against BC. 2 penalties. Major foul. Unnecessary roughness against Winnipeg. 1 penalty.
So, a 15-yard penalty. Now Troy Westwood kicks off from his own 50. He can put it through the uprights from there.
That doesn't count.
No. But it'd be a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, how often does a guy put a kickoff through the uprights?
We'll write it in our record book.
This is Shipman from the 5. Al Shipman trying to get outside, but Leonard Jean-Pierre comes down to make the stop at the 33-yard line. Let's go to the sidelines and David Pratt.
Well, guys, I cannot believe that Corey Philpott is back in the game. Would a trainer actually lie to you? I don't know. Let me tell you one thing. in the entire history of the BC Lions, they've only retired 5 numbers, and one of them is number 30. Used to belong to this guy, Dirty 30. Jim Young, I've got to tell you, the way they're going down here, or maybe the way they're coming back, maybe you could get a comeback.
Oh, wait. It was somebody else's body, David. Somebody else's body, I would do it.
Well, you still have the hands. That's the main thing.
Oh, yeah, the hands and the head are there.
Now, I've got to talk a little bit about these fans here. I know you played in some glory years with the Lions, but it does look as if they turned this thing around.
Well, right from the day that David Braley got back involved, they did a lot of things right. They've been going to the corporate sponsors. They've been going to the fans. They've been getting the alumni back involved, and it's partly why I'm down on the field tonight. Their involvement of the alumni. They're doing all the things right, and they're playing great football.
Jimmy, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the football game.
I sure will.
Number 30, Dirty 30, Jimmy Young. Back to you guys.
And a 42-yard gain to Alfred Jackson. Action Jackson strikes again.
This time it's on Brandon Hamilton. Nothing fancy. 3-step drop, and Alfred Jackson straight down the sideline. Just uses his speed.
5 catches for 192 yards for Alfred Jackson. Now Allen wants to go over top again to Jackson. No flag.
And a good no call by the official that time. Nick Ferguson is working on Alfred Jackson just man-to-man, and you know Jeff Reinbold refuses to get out of it. Here's the matchup. There's going to be some hand fighting down the field, but that goes both ways, and it goes on every play. You see Jackson push the hand away, and every time there's a push, there's going to be a pull from Nick Ferguson, and it's a good no call. Finally a good no call.
Now 2nd and 10 for the Lions from the Winnipeg 45-yard line. What a day for Alfred Jackson. Now Allen trying to set it up there for Larry Thompson, but a great play made by Winnipeg's Darnell Small, number 45, who not only makes the stop on Larry Thompson, but pushes the Lions out of field goal range.
Darnell Small's been basically on special teams, but Winnipeg has had some injuries and had to go in there at the linebacker spot. But you saw an example of the quickness of Darnell Small. He only played 4 games last year for Winnipeg, but in those 4 games had 17 tackles and a quarterback sack.
Luke Pasaglia back to punt. The 43-year-old having a pretty good night, averaging 43.4 yards. Dexter Dawson back to receive as Pasaglia aims for the sideline. Look out, lost the football. But Winnipeg gets it back. Whoa, and a break for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Dexter Dawson just able to hang on.
How does Dexter Dawson come up with this football? Because he was surrounded by black jerseys. And that ball bounced right off his shoulder pads. The ball bounced right off. He takes a short hop right there, bounced right. Look at the black jerseys. They're all over the place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
And meantime, Luke Pasaglia booms another punt. The 43-year-old who began his CFL career in 1976. Damon Allen was 12 back then. Wait a minute.
Hang on, I just went across the...
You were 12. You were 12. Oh, were you? I don't think so.
Trying to save a year.
Good luck. First down, Ron Williams with the carry. Look out, Ron Williams breaks into the backfield for the BC Lions and gets out across the 20 to the 22-yard line and pick up a 14 yards for Ron Williams, who's running wild for Winnipeg tonight.
And it's all Ron Williams on this play. Watch his legs. Great running backs and the power backs are just going to keep those legs churning. He hits it right up in the middle. Nothing fancy, but the legs keep pumping. Pump the legs. Keep them moving. Keep them moving. Keep them moving. It takes 3 or 4 BC Lions to tackle him.
Alfred Jackson over 150 yards. Not Alfred Jackson. Ron Williams over 150 yards rushing. And here he comes again. Out to the 40. And a gain of 18 yards. Another Winnipeg first down in a game in which Alfred Jackson is threatening 200 yards receiving. Ron Williams may rush for 200 yards. And we've talked about this, the former Lions factor, and there's no shortage of them. Ron Williams, along with a lot of other offensive players, quarterback Chris Vargas, wide receiver Ted Alford, and offensive lineman Craig Hendrickson.
And then you can add a couple coaches on that list as well. Jeff Reinbold and, of course, Joe Papa.
Now from the 40-yard line. This is passes the give to the fullback, Bruce Boyko. And Boyko picks up a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8. Well, I'll tell you what, the skies over the prairies were busy in May and June with guys flying from BC to Winnipeg to join Jeff Reinbold.
I mean, you know, a lot of people criticize Jeff Reinbold for signing free agents, but listen, it happens in every sport. I mean, guy's a free agent, wants to go to a guy that he likes, and the player goes to Jeff Reinbold. I mean,
what's interesting is that Joe Paopao, Glenn, was the head coach last year, Reinbold the coordinator this year. The roles are reversed. Now Vargas from the shotgun on 2nd down. Vargas can't find anyone. It gets him. Joe Fleming with the quarterback sack, and don't look now, more ill will, and another flag comes down. Brett McNeil got into it with Dave Chaters.
And Brett McNeil's going to get the penalty because when the official threw the flag, he turned around, not only threw the flag, but he yelled at Brett McNeil.
That's a bad sign.
He reprimanded him right on the spot. And they got into a bit of a shouting match.
See, Brett looks like such a calm, rational guy.
Objectionable conduct. Winnipeg 57.
Well, the penalty is a costly one. It moves the Bombers back to their own 27-yard line, and that's where they'll be forced to punt. The two most penalized teams in the league doing some damage tonight.
And right after this play, it was high fives all around downfield for the secondary of the Lions because that's a coverage sack. Joe Fleming keeps working and does get the stat, but Chris Vargas had nowhere to throw the football. And Brett McNeil's lack of discipline cost his team some yardage.
Cameron to punt to Al Shipman. Cameron staying in his own 13-yard line. 11 men up for BC. Here comes the rush. Maurice Kelly almost got there. Now the ball bouncing to Shipman, and he'll let it go past him. Picks it up, no flags, and Shipman is wrapped up immediately. Brought down by Doug Hawking after a 48-yard punt. Winnipeg leading BC 16-14 on the CFL Live. Four games in week number 5. We got them all for you here on TSN. Doubleheader on Thursday, Edmonton, Montreal, followed by Toronto at BC. Friday night, Hamilton's at Winnipeg. And then on Saturday, Calgary at Saskatchewan for the return game of that home and home. Should be a great one at Taylor Field.
Okay, I'm going to blow our horn a little bit. We cover the CFL like I covered Gord Miller in a touch football game.
You can't cover me. I was like 7-Eleven. I was open all night. Flags are down, and the play will not count as there was early movement.
No way. Not another flag.
Yeah, you're getting sarcastic.
Well, this is getting ridiculous.
This is your 3rd year. You're getting bitter.
Well, you know.
Illegal procedure. BC 64.
I'll tell you what. One more time on camera. Bud Steen's going to have to join ACTRA. He's been on the air more than I have tonight.
Ewanibi is right here. Gets the procedure call.
See, you know what? He looks offside to me on almost every play. He looks to me like he takes a step back before the snap on almost every play.
Well, that was a procedure by a knee. His knee twitched.
That's 25 penalties. A quarter century. Flags again. That's 26 penalties. And the crowd getting restless.
Time count violation. BC number 9.
Now, how do you get a time count violation after a penalty? I mean, you have all that time. They got to set up the ball again. They got to march the yards off. I mean, yes, there's some lack of concentration on both sides. That's some undisciplined things, but let's keep the flags in the pocket, please.
The preceding comment does not necessarily reflect the opinions of TSN or its sponsors. Fake the draw play. Now David Allen running for his life, gets a big block, runs back to the middle and gets brought down. As jumping up to make the stop was Junior Tangoi. Got that right?
Tangoi. Junior Tangoi. And it's pursuit that gets him. Good block by Jamie Terrace on Shante Peoples. Gives Damon Allen right there at the top of your screen. Gives him a little bit of time, but Junior Tangoi, pursuit gets Allen.
Second and call it 25.
And he was hurt earlier and back in the football game, had a bit of a shoulder.
Minus 6 yards rushing for BC tonight. Allen throws it for Sean Millington, who tripped on his own man. He fell over Todd Furtick, who had fallen. And as a result, the Lions are well short of a first down.
Well, we saw this play earlier in the game. Todd Furtick's got to work to the outside. He's number 59. He keeps working on the block. It's a timing thing, this little screen pass. You got to drop it off, and all the time has got to be right, and then we'll put that down for one tackle. Number 59, Todd Furtick.
Well, see, it's funny because he tripped on Millington, and Millington tripped on him. Now Pasaglia back to punt. His career began when Glenn Suter was 14 years old. Sorry. Good kick by Pasaglia. This is taken by Milt Stiegel. And he's dragged down by Sean Millington. Loss of a couple on the return. So Jeff Reinbold, who specializes in special teams, looks on. And, of course, he began his career as a special teams coach right here in BC. Moved on to Vegas. Head coach or assistant coach in Edmonton. Assistant head coach here last year.
C21. David Mayeva standing there listening to him.
Famous for the earrings, the Harleys, the tattoos, the gum, long hair, the sandals.
Yeah, when he was in BC, I used to say, you're the coolest coach in the league. You come off the bus, everyone's in suit and ties. You got flip-flops, a hat on backwards, and a tank top.
I remember the vest and no shirt. That was a good look. First down, the give goes to Ron Williams. Williams still going, fights his way across the 45 for a gain of 6. Bilovich making the comment earlier that Reinbold will be so excited he might put the double earrings in. One. Yeah.
He's got them both.
That's a double.
Yeah, I'll say this about Jeff Reinbold, though. He is different, and he approaches this game a little bit different than the traditional coach. But when it comes down to the X's and O's, this guy is right on.
I get the sense, though, that all the other coaches in the league wore earrings. He wouldn't.
You're right.
2nd and 6. Vargas, look out. Buried by Maurice Kelly. Maurice Kelly having a big year for the BC Lions. Has his 3rd sack of the year to go with 2 interceptions.
Now this is tough. You're asking Dave Van Conen, who has to snap the football to come off. He's right in here. He's got to come off after he snaps and pick up Maurice Kelly on the outside. See him drop. He picks it up late. Can't get there in time. That's a lot to ask out of the center. You got to snap the ball, look to see who needs help. Van Conen sees it's Maurice Kelly in the corner, but he can't get out there in time.
Cameron to kick it. Whoa, booming kick by Bob Cameron. This is Shipman from the 25-yard line. And Shipman gets a return of 8 out to the 33-yard line. It's a 47-yard punt for Bob Cameron, who, as we mentioned earlier, celebrated his 43rd birthday yesterday in his 18th season in the Canadian Football League. Now, how old were we when he started his career? You're 2 years older than me.
Okay, hang on.
Hey, wait.
Hang on.
No, you're not younger.
Okay,
you're not younger. You know what's scary about that is that we're older than almost all the players on the field.
Yeah.
That's scary. Bob Cameron, a Heck Crichton Trophy winner, is the outstanding player in college football at Acadia University in 1977.
Shalon Baker was 6.
Don't cry, man. Corey Philpott gets the line of scrimmage and is bounced right back. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. The BC Lions trail the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 16-14 with the 4th quarter to come. The Lions and the Bombers figuring for another great finish. Right now, we'll send you back to CFL Live Control.
Welcome back to CFL Live after 3 quarters. Rod Smith along with Obi, Les, and Marty. 2 of the most penalized teams in the CFL this season. So with all the sightings of the red flag, they're not disappointing that way. Not a disappointment, Obi, for the BC Lions is the play of Alfred Jackson.
Boy, he's impressive. He's got to be the fastest wideout or one of them in the league. And I can remember when he first came into the league with Winnipeg, I think they used him as a defensive back originally. And then one night with Matt Dunnigan out there, he caught over 314 yards against Edmonton. And from then on, he was a stalwart wideout.
Well, I know Adam Rita really likes the enthusiasm of Alfred Jackson. So much so, in fact, that he asked Alfred Jackson to, or that he asked Larry Thompson to emulate Al Jackson and try, you know what I'm saying, the other wide receiver. He wanted him to be more like that and to stop being as dour as he was. He wanted him to smile. Rita asked Thompson to just be like Jackson and have a good time and enjoy the game.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if he's like Jackson, Adam will be smiling.
Tell you what, I used to smile. I played against Alfred Jackson. I'm going to tell you, he had these long strides, which you can see when he scored those touchdowns. Those long strides are very deceiving. This kid can fly.
Did he beat you too?
Yes, he did. He beat me for a touchdown as well, and I will admit, you know, and he did. He played defensive back for Winnipeg that game and also played receiver. Got an interception and he got a touchdown against me.
Well,
Kid's really good.
Listen, the emotion, speaking of smiling, the other type of emotions have been showing in this game as well. A lot of anger, something you were pointing out. Maybe they should be throwing the flag a little sooner when teams think a lot of that roughing isn't going to be called. And you see it's getting a little more aggressive between these two.
Well, you know, referees really have to take control of the game in these type of situations where you come up and you obviously see the late hit. And then the other team gets upset, gets up and starts pounding on the guy who's getting the late hit, and then the flags start flying on the wrong guy. They have to make sure that they get the first guy first, and then it'll stop all the penalty stuff.
But hey, let's not end on a dour note, though. We're smiling. Right. Adam Rita likes it that way, and we're happy because it's close heading to the fourth quarter. BC plays the Bombers up in the Lions by 2. Back there now. Once again, here's Gordon Miller and Glenn Suter, guys.
Yeah, the guys in the studio are never sour, are they, Glenn? You were in there last year.
No, not at all.
They might need officials in there once in a while. Speaking of objectionable conduct.
Yeah, well, let's take one of them off the field and put him in the studio. I wouldn't mind that right now.
2nd and 11 for the Lions to begin the fourth quarter. Allen, low snap, and this is a break. Allen, all kinds of room. Across midfield. Allen dives down the 47-yard line. There are no flags. As Damon Allen takes advantage of a bad snap and rumbles for the BC Lions, 29 yards.
Now, this is how you draw it up. Bounce pass to yourself, pick it up. Shante Peoples was committed on the stunt to the inside, and Damon Allen just saw the seam and took off. You draw it up that way. Bounce pass.
Yeah. Okay, you lie to your friends.
Yeah.
I'll lie to my friends. But
you can't lie to me.
Don't lie to me, all right? BC with a rare trip across midfield. Low snap again, and this time it didn't work out nearly as well. Jumping up to make the stop is Colin Scribner, and Mike Withicombe's getting a rude initiation to BC Lions football.
Well, how about this? He's playing up front against Colin Scribner. He's been banging him all game. He's had one practice, and he's also playing under the heat of this dome with the quarterback who's giving him the cadence. And that snap, you see Colin Scribner pounding him in there, and it's a tough start.
The problem is that, like Chuck Bradley before him, he's not a true center. An intentional incompletion, just threw it to the feet of Sean Millington, who was well covered. The Bluebirds are out at BC Place. And the numbers through 3 quarters, well, -6 yards rushing. I don't know if I've ever seen a team finish in the minus department rushing for an entire game.
A little bit of a difference between those two.
Now, after Allen's 29-yard run to open the fourth quarter, they're actually into the plus category.
Corey Philpott, who's been on the field,
91,
part of the story there for BC. They just won't turn around and give him the ball.
Milt Stegall back to take this punt from Lou Pasaglia. Pasaglia just line drives that on the turf. And Stegall will field it at the 15-yard line. Touched it. And now gets brought down by Millington up to the 18-yard line. 12:58 to play in the fourth quarter. Winnipeg clinging to a 2-point lead over BC. Chris Vargas and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with a 2-point lead on the BC Lions. And at halftime today, pretty interesting halftime performance put on by Dean Gunnarsson, a Winnipeg daredevil escape artist. They set the rope he was hanging from on fire, and he had to get out of that straitjacket before the rope.
And kids,
completely burned.
Do not try this at home.
Yeah.
He is a professional.
Dean Gunnarsson now with David Pratt.
Dean, what does a nice guy like you doing in a business like this?
Well, I tell you, ever since I was a little kid growing up in Winnipeg, I always enjoyed doing the impossible. We've traveled around the world, escaped from a lot of crazy things, but I tell you, we're proud to be doing it here for the Bombers and the Lions.
Because you're from Winnipeg, I know that the flood relief means a lot to you.
Absolutely. My motto is I believe in the impossible, and a lot of damage, even though I don't live in Winnipeg anymore. The flood relief took its toll. We were happy to be a part of it, and we're all trying to raise some money here tonight to help it out.
You got some friends here with a message?
Absolutely.
Come on in here, guys. You got a message to send? Send it now.
A couple of Canada's top comedians.
There you go.
They've been helping out with the flood relief. We've enjoyed them coming out. And
beats a long-distance phone call.
There you go.
Back to you, Gordo.
Our friends and family back in Winnipeg. There's no escaping TSN, baby.
They got the money's worth.
That would be impossible. Yeah, you know, not many kids grow up dreaming of hanging upside down from cranes from burning ropes and straitjackets, strangely enough. I hate to break Dean's bubble, but that's not a childhood dream of many people.
He's a professional, maybe not playing with a full deck.
Second and short for the Bombers. BC shows blitz. Here it comes. Vargas delivers quickly and gets it there to slot back Alan Boyko. Boyko should have a first down as he gets up to the 30-yard line.
Well, it's a good job by Boyko to, number one, read the blitz and just open up his body for Chris Vargas and keep Robert Holland off of him, because Robert Holland was right with him but couldn't get his hands around to get to the football. Boyko's going to read it and just shoot across the middle and see Holland right step for step and couldn't get around him.
And his twin brother Bruce threw the block on David Beaman and gave him the time to make the pass. On first down, back to the ground to Ron Williams. Nothing doing this time. Joe Fleming wrapped him up immediately after a gain of 1.
Well, sooner or later, that defensive line starts to figure it out, and Ron Williams has been having a pretty good game. Joe Fleming seen this play a couple of times from them now in this game, and going to fight right to the spot. Chris Vargas shows him the football, and Joe Fleming hits it right in the backfield.
Second down. Vargas gets away from the pressure. It's a great block, and now runs headlong into Tyrone Chetman and the BC Lions defense, and he'll be stopped short of a first down by about a yard. Now this brings up an interesting situation for Winnipeg. Vargas stopped on 3rd and inches earlier in almost the same spot.
Right.
You go for it now? No, Bob Cameron comes out to punt.
And I think it's a good decision to punt it by Jeff Reinbold and get that field position back in this tight game. David Meave is coming from the outside 31 and takes a gamble, goes inside. Bruce Boyko will love to have him do that, and then he gets cut trying to recover, but he loses contain. That gives Vargas the corner. Just can't get there, and I think this is a good decision by Reinbold to punt the ball.
Cameron back to kick. Shipman to receive, and they're trying to keep it away from him. Just a low, almost a punch 9-iron off the face mask. He got the bounce right back and gets out to the 43-yard line. That punt hit the turf and then his face mask.
We've seen it a couple times. Dexter Dawson got the short hop and hit his shoulder pad earlier in the game, and now see Al Shipman get the bad bounce and bounce up, and then he got the good bounce. Made right up for it because he picked it up on the fly.
And the lesson is, whenever possible, catch the ball.
There's one bounce, and then watch this one. Right up to him. Wade Miller had a crack at it.
The gravy bounce. Lions start from their own 42, trailing by 2, with 10:22 to play. Allen from the shotgun. Going over the top for Corey Philpott. Almost made the catch. He was working there on linebacker Darnell Small. Philpott got in behind him, as you might expect, but the pass went through his hand.
Well, Philpott made the change in the middle of the pattern. He was trying to run the out pattern, but Damon Allen saw that he had Darnell Small covering him, so he adjusts. Throws it out into the sideline, and even though Corey Philpott has a sore shoulder, should have had that one. My coach used to say, stick a fork in it. He didn't get the fork in the pigskin that time.
Wow. My coach used to say, stick a fork in it, you're done. Second down, Allen again from the shotgun. That's a one-hopper to Alfred Jackson, and Jackson looks back to the huddle in frustration as the Lions will once again be forced to punt.
Well, Alfred Trevor Jackson was open, and that's why he's frustrated. He was running on Brandon Hamilton, running curl pattern, came back to the football, but he didn't have a chance to come back far enough, and Eamon Allen one-hopped it to him.
Well, the BC Lions playing before their biggest crowd of the season, not doing much offensively to inspire the home side. Luke Pasaglia forced to kick.
186.
Pasaglia with a good low kick. This is Stiegel from his 25. Dives ahead to about the 30. 44-yard punt and a 5-yard return for Milt Stiegel. Chris Vargas and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will go back to work. We mentioned before the game that he's the 8th ranked passer in the Canadian Football League. Winnipeg's offense has the fewest yards, the fewest passing yards, the lowest completion percentage, and the fewest rushing plays in the league this year.
Well, and one thing that defenses know about Chris Vargas, and this is something, it's not a slight against Vargas at all, but he's a straight drop back passer. The guy's only run the ball in 3 years 18 times. So when you're on that defensive line, you know where he's going to be.
Strange because he's pretty agile.
He is. The offense dictates that he drop back pocket passer.
Toss goes to Ron Williams. Williams turned back inside, gets up to the 34-yard line. David Mava up to make the stop along with Leonard Humphreys, the corner.
Brett McNeil was coming around the corner there. And hate to be the defender coming up on that.
That's when you just lie down, right? Hope they trip on you.
Create a pile.
You're a one-man pile.
Yep.
Return alert. Pick up a 5 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 5 for Winnipeg. Vargas has his man Stiegel through the middle. Look out. If he gets away, he's gone. And hanging on for the ride is Don Wilson, who just was able to hang on, stopping at the 47-yard line. It's a pickup of 29 yards.
Good read and throw from Vargas to Milt Stiegel, because safety Greg Freres right here is out of the middle. He's sneaking up. He's poaching is what we call it, playing the curl route. When Stiegel sees that, he goes right to the hole in behind it. And watch Bruce Boyko give his quarterback some time. Bruce Boyko's not going to get the football very much, but he's a great blocker.
To Williams. Dave Chainer's able to get there quickly to help make the stop. Williams gets down to about the 45-yard line for a pickup of 2. Now Chainer's with a big grin.
Now, every situation in 2nd and long or 2nd and medium so far, the BC Lions have sent pressure. Sometimes with Freres, sometimes with David Mieva or Maurice Kelly. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they do it here, because they've been burned a couple times on it.
Gain of 14 yards and a first down, just his 2nd catch of the half.
Well, Gordon, we're just talking about whether or not they'd blitz. David Mieva, Tyrone Chapman, and Maurice Kelly all lined up on the line of scrimmage and then dropped. And when Vargas realized it was zone, got some protection from his front 5 and waited for Alford to open up in the zone.
First down now, Winnipeg from the 30. Williams. Big collision as he into the safety man Greg Freres, and Freres limits the gain to a couple.
I talked about Greg Freres poaching into certain situations, and saw Milt Stiegel get in behind him. One of the reasons you bring the safety out of the middle and poach him up short like that is to help out on the run.
Freres was with Winnipeg last year, traded to BC, and Jeff Reinbold said, we got Ted Alford for nothing, and we got Ronald Williams for a box of tape. Well, that would be Greg Freres, the box of tape. You can call me whatever you want. I'm playing.
Well, Jeff Reinbold qualified that statement later by saying he was expendable to us.
Ron Williams with a carry once again. And Winnipeg looked content just to get the field goal there. So the Bombers will try one now as Troy Westwood comes on, the CFL's hottest field goal kicker. Give it a ride from about 33 yards out.
Well, that's one thing this Winnipeg offense has done well this year. They are low in most of the categories. You mentioned it earlier, Gord. They're last in the league in passing and 6th in running the football. Of course, that'll improve after Ron Williams' performance tonight. But one thing they're good at is they don't give the ball away. They protect the football. Coming into this game, they were at league low 3 giveaways. So protecting the football and taking points when you have the opportunity.
From just over 33 yards out, Westwood puts it up and misses it to the left. Eddie Thomas will give up the single point, and Winnipeg's lead is 3.
I don't think Eddie Thomas got the signal before he went on the field. As he caught it, he caught the ball, then looked to Adam Rita.
Winnipeg misses a field goal, but leads by 3. The CFL Live returns to Vancouver right after this. 17-14, Winnipeg leads. That's a big miss, though, by Troy Westwood.
It certainly is. I mean, you look at the score right now, BC Lions just need to get into field goal range to tie this football game, and that's a kick that Westwood makes 9 out of 10 times.
That's a capital I, small O, small S. First down for the 35. Damon Allen. Quick drop over the top for Alfred Jackson, and Jackson hand fighting down there. Brandon Hamilton wanted the call, but
no way.
Coming.
No way. That was great coverage by Brandon Hamilton. He was the best defensive back in training camp for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He's got tremendous feet and great hips. And he turns and runs with Alfred Jackson.
I beg your pardon.
Okay, now when I say great hips, I should qualify this.
I'm sure they're fine.
No, he's got great, quick feet.
Yeah, and nice smile,
no,
too.
Defensive backs have to have
legs.
good.
Nice legs, too.
No, hold on. They have to have good hips to be able to turn and get out of their back pedal.
Oh, okay. Second down, Allen swings it out for Sean Millington. And Millington pushed out of bounds up at about the 42-yard line, and Damon Allen got smoked when he let go of that football.
But Colin Scribner hits him, and he doesn't want to go to Millington, and he hangs on to the ball a little long. Scribner keeps working up the middle on Mike Whitthacombe, and you see the hit right under the chin on Damon Allen. When you hold that ball longer, eventually those guys in front are going to get to you.
Bassaglia to punt now, and Milt Stiegel back to receive, and Stiegel's looking to Bob Cameron on the sideline and said, how far should I go back?
Now, did we straighten out that hips thing? Because I don't want to say that.
You said it. Stiegel picks it up at the 23-yard line and fights his way up to about the 26. That's where the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will have the football when we come back to the stadium at BC Place. Week 5 kicks off with a doubleheader, starting with Edmonton taking on Tracy Ham in Montreal. Tracy Ham hurt his ankle in Edmonton this week. We understand he should be back next week. That's followed by Toronto and BC. Doug Flutie, Robert Drummond, and the Argos bring their act here to the stadium at BC Place at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time.
Of course, Robert
football on Thursday night.
Of course, Robert Drummond had that big drive to beat Hamilton 2 nights ago now.
Yeah, you're losing track.
Trying to keep up.
On first down, swings it out for Ron Williams. Williams, nice cut. Look at him go. And Leonard Humphreys finally makes the stop. A gain of about 9 yards for Ron Williams.
Really was a nice cut in the open field because Maurice Kelly is working to the outside. You're going to see him try and get outside. Now, because he does that, Robert Holland's going to fill inside. Maurice Kelly's working with Boyko there. One little move, one little shake. That held Maurice Kelly, allowed Ron Williams to bounce to the outside.
Last time the Winnipeg Blue Bombers had the football, they kept it for 5.5 minutes, but got just 1. Now, 3:50 to play in the 4th quarter, and a chance to eat up some clock. The middle of that defense, he crosses the 40 to the 41-yard line and gets himself a gain of 4.
The BC Lions defensively have decided to give up the pass, make them pass the football, because Greg Frères is not deep anymore. He's right in here. He's only about 6 yards off the line, and he's been asked to come up and help on the run.
forced to punt as we reach the 3-minute warning.
I think even if Alan Boyko catches that one, I think he's about 1.5 yards short anyway.
The BC Lions will get the football back, trailing by 3 when the CFL Live returns to Vancouver right after that. As week 4 comes to an end, the Edmonton Eskimos lead the West, but the BC Lions can tie them with a win tonight. And actually, BC would take over first place because the Lions beat Edmonton. And in the East, it's getting interesting now. Montreal and Toronto tied for top spot. Hamilton still looking for that first win.
Winnipeg's first win was against Hamilton, and they play each other next week on Friday night.
Yes, you'll be there for that. 22,300 here tonight, the largest crowd of the year for the BC Lions on a beautiful day in Vancouver.
34!
Cameron to punt. Back to receive Andrew English and Al Shipman. And they're in the eye. Cameron trying to keep it away from Shipman, but this is Al Shipman from the 22-yard line. He is tripped up quickly. A good special teams play made there by Greg Battle.
It really is.
Downfield.
Sorry, guys, it really is. And, you know, the special team coverage has been unbelievable. When you think of the ability of an Al Shipman and a Dexter Dawson that have been returning punts, the coverage teams on both sides of the football have been tremendous. And Jeff Reinbold, big part of that.
There's a 33-year-old guy, Greg Battle, on a hot night indoors, hustling downfield to make a big tackle with 2:29 to go.
The roster's not big enough to have Greg Battle just play defense.
And now, problems for Winnipeg. Nick Ferguson, the corner, is hurt, number 33. And boy, this is a big, big injury for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers because he's been facing off against Alfred Jackson for most of this game.
And the replacement for Nick Ferguson will be Kesley Perrin. Kesley Perrin is 21 years old.
First-year guy at Kent State, a native of Hamilton. Now, what they'll do is they'll move Shannon Garrett to the corner. Perrin will move inside. So there's Kesley Perrin. Shannon Garrett will now move to play corner for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Nick Ferguson makes his way out, but he's got to stay out for 3 plays now. What do you do now if you're playing defense for Winnipeg?
Play zone. You're going to have to drop in probably a 3-deep zone defense and not get Kesley Perrin.
Garrett's got the bad hand. He's lined up on Larry Thompson. Damon Allen from the shotgun sends it up for Al Shipman on the receiver screen. Reggie Carthon comes up to help make the stop. It's a gain of 4.
Now this play confuses me a little bit just because we saw Shannon Garrett's hand. We see Kesley Perrin, who's 21 years old, playing in this football game in a crucial situation, both on the right side of the football field, and the Lions throw it the other way. That surprises me a little bit.
Go figure. Now they've got Al Shipman lined up on Shannon Garrett.
And that's one that the Lions will take every single time.
Alfred Jackson has gains of 61, 67, and now 73 yards. Luke Masanga puts it through. A flag comes down. That's a big point after because it gives the Lions a 4-point lead. Now the missed field goal by Westwood looms huge. penalty against Winnipeg on the point after. That'll be applied on the kickoff. Finally, the Lions turn into big play, Glenn. Alfred Jackson with a 73-yard touchdown.
Winnipeg decline.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are trying to match up in defense, and because of the play designed, Alfred Jackson, who's right here, is going to work in, and because of the switches that Winnipeg does, he gets caught up on number 45, Darnell Small. See, Darnell Small lets Larry Thompson go and then is locked up on Alfred Jackson, and Darnell Small is quick, but not that quick.
How significant is the loss of Nick Ferguson on that play?
Well, it's huge because Kelsey Perrin, who's going to just take off and run, he's not going to be able to help at all on Darnell Small. But what it does is it throws all the whole chemistry of the defense off, and Darnell Small has no chance. I mean, if Nick Ferguson is in the football game, they may not even play that defense.
Now the kickoff return for Milt Stegall. Stegall gets out to the 35-yard line. 1:51 to go in the fourth quarter. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have the ball back. Now, think about this. Troy Westwood missed that field goal. Had he made that, all Winnipeg would need to do would be get in a field goal position to win the game.
And he's a lonely guy on the sideline right now.
Only his second miss of the year. Started from the shotgun at their own 34-yard line. Crowd's into it now. Vargas under pressure. Can't find anywhere to go. Drop. B.J. Gallup. Fourth sack of the game for BC.
The Lions, Gord, who have been sending pressure for most part of this game, dropped off into a three-deep zone, and the play that Vargas had called had most of his receivers going deep. When he doesn't find anyone, B.J. Gallup has a chance to keep working on Chris Perez and finally comes up with the sack.
Second down. Vargas all day. Almost intercepted. Right through the hands of David Mava. 1:31 to play. Jeff Reinbold will punt.
The Lions go with the three-man rush. That's why Chris Vargas has lots of time. There's just three. 1, 2, 3 right here on the rush. He's got lots of time because he's got 5 guys blocking. The problem is there's a ton of defensive backs back there covering because of the three-man rush, and he can't find anybody open.
Al Shipman is back to receive the punt. David Mava turning in another big performance for the BC Lions. Low snap. Cameron kicks a beauty. Shipman from the 35-yard line. A flag comes down. That'll be no yards of the 15-yard variety. Great battle now to make the stop. Shipman makes the catch. And now that no yards penalty is really going to cost Winnipeg.
No yards. Winnipeg 24.
Winnipeg's Andrew Henry is called for no yards. And this will send the BC Lions out close to midfield. They'll start their own 50.
And now, Gord, with 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this game, the Lions have not run the ball at all tonight. Now, when they can't run the ball successfully and burn up the rest of this time on the clock, you could see Winnipeg get one more chance at it.
BC has 23 yards rushing in the game. 29 of them on a carry by Damon Allen. They were -6 before he took off.
And Kesley Perrin is still in the ball game.
Shannon Garrett at the corner. Allen. He's going to take off himself. Don't go out of bounds. He realized it just before he got there. He tried to sit down, and he does up at the 51-yard line. Suddenly, Damon Allen just pulled the chute there because he wanted to go out and stop the clock.
Now, usually when you see a play like that, there's some pulling guards, maybe a pulling tackle out there, but I think that Damon Allen just sort of wrote that one in the turf. Allen, take it, just run with it to the right. Corey Philpott is definitely injured. He's in the game, but Adam Rita reluctant to turn around and hand him the football. He doesn't want him to get pounded.
No gain of the play. It's 2nd and 10. Allen. They're trying to set up the screen. Nothing to do it. So Allen will take off and get up to midfield. The Bombers saw it coming, and Allen had to take off. They took a whack at the end of that play from Dwayne Knight.
Well, Dwayne Knight, and little credit to the youngster Kesley Perrin as well, because he played off in the zone. He's a good athlete. He's probably real nervous right now. Broke up and helped in on this tackle. Dwayne Knight's going to track him down, but Kesley Perrin is on the other side, number 13 right there.
Now with 50 seconds to play in the 4th quarter, Winnipeg takes its timeout. So the clock will not start until Luke Bisaglia punts the football. One problem for Winnipeg, and it's the problem the Bombers have had for years, is returning punts. Shalon Baker began the game as their punt returner, but he's hurt. So Milt Stegall, who doesn't do it very often, is back there to return this kick. With 50 seconds to go, the Bombers could really use a big return. Bisaglia drives it deep. It's returnable, though. Stegall from the 12. And he's collared right away by Peter Miller. Number 91, who gets down to make the stop. And the Bombers will be hemmed in deep, starting at their own 27-yard line with 40 seconds to go.
Well, 40 seconds is enough time. You can hurry up offense. It's enough time to move the football down the field, but you're going to need at least one of these plays in this drive. Has to be about 25, 30 yards. And you know the Lions are going to drop off deep in the zone and make the Winnipeg offense throw it underneath.
40 seconds to go. Winnipeg has led for most of the football game, but now trailed by 4. And it is live. Flags are down. Vargas for Ron Williams, wide open. Williams out of bounds up to the 40-yard line now. What's the flag?
Flag down. Well, the play only took 6 seconds, and it's against the Lions.
Offside against BC. Winnipeg will decline that.
Offside. BC 96 declined.
Virgil Robertson is called for offside. He might have just lined up there.
Yeah, you see right here. Here's the line of scrimmage.
Whoops.
Virgil Robertson lined up too close.
First down, Winnipeg. Look out. Dragged down from behind. B.J. Gallus again. 5th sack for BC. 3rd for Gallus. What an impression he is making. The 22-year-old in his first year.
Well, the free safety had to go the ex-free safety had to go a long way around Chris Perez to get there, but he used his quickness and kept working.
27 seconds to go. 2nd and 13. Vargas for Williams. Runs back. Loses the football. And BC gets it back. Ron Williams, who is having such a great night, can't hang on, and Brooks Finley grabs the loose ball.
Well, after the sack on the earlier play, Chris Vargas rushes us a little bit. The Lions are only bringing 3 guys. Chris Vargas has lots of time. Then Ron Williams loses all the ground and puts the ball on the ground.
18 seconds to play, and the BC Lions will celebrate their 3rd win of the year. They'll move into a tie with the Edmonton Eskimos for first place in the West. And Winnipeg no longer has a timeout and will be unable to stop the clock. What a performance by the BC Lions, who look dead and buried at times in the first half.
Well, I think we we may just witness the offensive player of the week in Alfred Jackson.
No kidding.
Pretty big game for number 7 wearing black. He was the difference tonight, no question.
Alfred Jackson has 6 catches for 265 yards. The touchdown that put BC ahead, and the Lions have won again. 21-17 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And the Bombers coming off their first win of the year last week. Now dropped to 1-3. And an unhappy homecoming for Jeff Reinbold.
Well, Jeff Reinbold has to look at that offensive unit. I mean, he had opportunities in the 4th quarter with the football. You think back to times when Westwood misses a field goal early, and Jeff Reinbold's going to look back, and he just can't believe what's happened.
Jeff Reinbold just standing there and staring.
It's an emotional game for Jeff Reinbold to come back here to Vancouver, and you know this one hurts.
And Adam Rita and the BC Lions are celebrating the win. Here's David Pratt with Coach Jeff Reinbold.
You know, even in our paper all week, the headline was, it'll take a miracle to beat the Lions. Maybe we needed a miracle. All they needed was Alfred Jackson.
How much did the injuries hurt? I know that you had the patch and repair all day.
Well, at the end, we didn't have anybody left in the secondary. Nick goes down. Ferguson, our starting corner. We got a backup safety in Kesley Perrin out there playing corner. He probably didn't do a very good job of calling that last series. We should have protected him a little bit, and we didn't. We're in zero coverage, and, you know, that's the way it ended up.
This is the price of being a head coach. I know that it's a learning curve.
It's a learning curve, but, you know, again, it's also a short life expectancy, too.
Best of luck for the rest of the season, Jeff.
Thanks, David.
Back to you guys.
David Allen, the BC Lions, 3-1 on the year after a 21-17 win over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The CFL Live on TSN continues in just a moment. Time now for the TSN turning point from the night's game between BC and Winnipeg. Well, we're taking it late in the 4th quarter. Alfred Jackson, number 7, is on the inside, but he's heading outside. And with Nick Ferguson out of the game for Winnipeg, Alfred Jackson takes advantage of the inexperience in the secondary and goes 73 yards for the go-ahead touchdown for the BC Lions, who didn't lead for long, but led when it was over. That is tonight's TSN turning point. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN. We'll be back to talk to Alfred Jackson, the man of the moment, when we come back to Vancouver right after this.
Welcome back, CFL Live. Our post-game show is the BC Lions on some big plays, beating the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tonight at BC Place 21-17. Hey, maybe the disappointed coach of the Bombers, Jeff Reinbold, said it best in this homecoming to BC Place. He said, maybe we did need a miracle, but all the BC Lions needed was Alfred Jackson. How true it was. This guy catches one, sets up a touchdown, scores the other 2 on a Lion offense that relied on him basically solely by himself. He's by himself right now, talking to us, joining us from Vancouver. Congratulations, Alfred. Just tell me about this game, first of all, and the role you played in it.
Well, I think basically we wanted to come out and stay focused. There was a lot of hype all week about Winnipeg coming in, and I tell you, they give us a run for our money the first half. On offense, they completely stopped us. Second half, we went back to doing the things that we do best, just running underneath routes. As far as myself, they were playing me bump and run a lot, and I just told Damon, look, either I'm going to go inside or outside. I'm going to take the best release and just throw it out there.
Alfred, it's Les Brown.
Uh-huh.
You know, the first 2 looked like they were streaks that you ran against them in a zero coverage or a man coverage. But the last one, you were matched up with a linebacker. What happened there?
Well, what happened was they put me inside, and anytime I go inside, I'm kind of reading the linebackers. And if the inside backer walled me off, so I just banged back out, and they were in man-to-man, and it was open.
Hey, Alfred, it's Marty York here. With all the ex-Bombers on your team, how determined were you guys to beat Winnipeg tonight?
Well, I think a lot of guys were very determined. Me, myself, I mean, I just looked at it as another game. We get a chance to come out each week and play, and we just go from there.
Alfred, it's Bob Obilovich here. One thing that seemed like tonight in the BC Lions offense was that, I don't know if the offense was designed just to get you the ball, or it seemed like all those other good receivers and running backs in your offense, you really didn't get a lot of balls to anybody else. So what happened with that offense?
Well, I think Damon, Damon's got to get a little confident with the offense. It's a new offense for him as well as everybody. And he's just, right now, he's making certain reads right now. And tonight, he was just reading me all night. We have so much talent on this team. Everybody wants the ball, and everybody's got to be patient. And I guess tonight was just my night.
Alfred, for those who may have forgotten your previous stint in the Canadian Football League, just tell about the circumstances that led to BC from the NFL, and also a report that I'd read that Winnipeg thought that they had you wrapped up on their team, but you ended up being a Lion.
Well, what happened was I think I was coming to an end in my career with the NFL as far as playing defensive back. I really don't consider myself as a defensive back. I think I was just going out there on ability. When I decided to come back to the CFL, it was between Winnipeg and BC. I wanted to stay close on the West Coast, where my family was. And when Paul Jones and I spoke, we spoke about the financial part of the contract. We never spoke terms and length of the contract. And when I agreed to say, okay, this is the amount that you guys are going to give me, but I'm still talking to BC, he went back and said it was a done deal. And that was never the case. And next thing you know, I'm supposed to be going to Winnipeg in a big conference. So I don't know what, I think there was a big misunderstanding there.
Alfred, I remember one game you played, and it happened to be in Commonwealth Stadium against Edmonton, where you just had a field day against one defensive back in particular, and that was Wright. I forget his first name, but it was against Wright. Were these passes caught on different defensive backs?
These tonight they were. I'm kind of the wide side, the field side receiver, so I work both sides. And this league, it's hard to play man-to-man bump around because you have a receiver has so much field to work with. And I was just setting these guys up, and they were giving it to me, and I was just taking it.
Alfred Jackson, congratulations once again. Great night. By the way, Les Brown says if he was on the field, that never would have happened tonight. I don't know what you have to say.
I agree with them.
Anyway, great game for Alfred Jackson of the BC Lions. Those catches, 2 of them for touchdowns, another one that's set up. I don't think we've seen this season anyway any individual player dominate a game as much as he did tonight.
I mean, he really, truly took control of this game. I think that Damon probably saw that this is the only weapon that he has that he can go to right now, and I think he used it to the best of his ability.
Well, he had a heck of a game for the BC Lions, but Ronald Williams did all he could do for his football team, and had they won the football game, we'd be talking to him about the kind of thing he did for his team to win, because he was an outstanding individual performance as well.
Well, certainly one guy can talk about the game that Ronald Williams had. Member of the BC Lions defense linebacker David Maeva joining us now. And certainly there was a lot of talk in this game, David, about all the hype and the returning ex-Lions. How did it feel in this game, all that excitement? Because it didn't seem to build at the beginning anyway.
Yeah, it was really exciting. We kind of got caught up in it. The first half, they were running the ball well. We were kind of too pumped up. We started making mistakes and simple coverages, and they're real successful in moving the ball. I think it was just a fact of settling down. The coaches got us to relax, make good changes and stuff. And then after a while, we just needed to wrap up, and it worked out in the end, thank goodness.
Hey, David, this is Les Brown.
Hey, what's up, brother Les?
Did you go up to Coach and say, this is with love, Coach, with love?
Oh, man, I wish I was a DB. I've been a linebacker all my life. I could have picked the ball at the end, and that was my dream, was to pick a ball and give it to him after the game. But, yeah, we went up to him, and we gave him a big hug, big kiss. Mo Kelly and myself owe a lot to him, and as far as we're like the smallest linebackers in the league, and he's given us a chance back in Vegas, up here in BC, where maybe most coaches and most teams wouldn't give us a chance. We're only like 200 pounds. I'm 204. I think Mo Kelly's 198. So we owe a lot to him. But it's great to beat him. I've been dreaming of this day since I think January when he got the head coaching job.
David, it's Marty York here. Could you compare Adam Rita to your coach last year, Joe Powell?
They're both great coaches. What I tell people is that I think Joe just had a hard time as far as the team financially. There wasn't much support for him. He did his best. Coach Jeff did his best. What Adam's doing this year is he got a good bunch of guys. The team is a good chemistry. Everybody likes each other. After practice, guys are hanging out. Whereas last year, everybody would go to practice, do their thing, and then, you know, go their separate ways. Nobody really, there was no team gel last year. This year, we got a good chemistry. Everybody's fighting for each other, not quitting.
David, it's Bob Obilovich speaking.
Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Good, brother, good.
One question I wanted to ask you, how different is the BC Lions defense this year with Coach Easley compared to when Coach Reinbold coached it last year?
This year, this year we're not blitzing as much. Coach Jeff, he got a lot of great blitzes, and we love blitzing. Say we call a blood stunt in the first quarter. By the third quarter, that blood stunt is totally different. He likes to change things up to how the offense is handling us. As far as Coach East, we just got a couple set plays, and we just run it. First quarter blood is the same as fourth quarter blood.
Well, so they ran a blood blitz on Alfred Jackson. I think they wish they hadn't.
Oh, yeah, no. AJ, touchdown. There we go. Thank God. Thank God.
Say, Dave, you got probably one of the best celebration dances going on, that Hawaiian dance. Can you give us a taste of it?
Oh, man.
Come on, Dave.
Come on, Dave. And you guys got it, too, on that TSN Friday night stuff. They showed me. Last year I was 21. They showed me doing a little Samoan Siwa. So thanks to you guys, man. That was good.
All right,
still trying to do something, yep. Thank you guys back over there, yep. Aloha.
Congratulations again. You can do it on a Friday night. You can do it on a Saturday night tonight.
Thank you. We'll try to do it next Thursday also.
As you take on the Toronto Argonauts. Thanks again to David Maiva, victorious. And good job by the defense. In the end, as Winnipeg tried to come back after Alfred Jackson destroyed them again. It's the BC Lions moving to 3-1 into a first-place tie with the Edmonton Eskimos. With that one, they take it. Final score, BC 21, Winnipeg 17. More CFL Live after this. We are still inspired here by the post-game dance of David Maiva, but I imagine his team still inspired by the work of Alfred Jackson tonight. With their thoughts, let's head back to BC Place for Gord Miller and Glenn Suter. Gentlemen.
Rod, you haven't seen Glenn Suter's post-game rumba. It really is something. Let's first of all take a look at the final numbers from this football game. One number that stands out is the rushing yards for the BC Lions, just 28 in the game. Remember, Damon Allen had 29 on one carry. They're actually -6 after 3 quarters. And, of course, Alfred Jackson accounts for 2/3 of the BC Lions' total offense. But, Glenn, the question is, the BC Lions are 3-1 now, tied for the best record in the league, tied for first place in the West. Are they for real?
I think they are, and I think they are because of one reason. They have the talent on offense, and they have a quarterback who seems to have matured, if that's possible, with Damon Allen, even to greater lengths in his passing ability. The other thing that I think that makes them a contender is the fact that what David Maiva talked about, the fact that they're gelling. There's cohesiveness on this team. They hang out together, and that goes a long way down the stretch when you go to battle together and you fight together. And David Maiva, he's not having too much fun, is he?
No, it's, you know, we got to talk to him about, you know, smiling more and enjoying himself. You've seen 6 of the 8 teams in the league this week on your cross-Canada tour, and it's interesting. You look at now the BC Lions face the Toronto Argonauts next week. How do they stack up defensively against that team?
Well, you know, they've got a couple concerns. Defensively, they got to look at that running game. I mean, you look at the Argos with Robert Drummond and Mike Clemens in the backfield and what Drummond can do to you, and you got to look at and be concerned about stopping the run. And the other concern they have is Corey Philpott. We saw the low running stats, and is Corey Philpott going to be able to play next week? That's got to be concerned for BC.
Well, I'll tell you what, for the BC Lions, the evening is big in many ways. They get their 3rd win of the year. They do it in front of their biggest crowd of the year, now expecting an even bigger gathering when they face Doug Flutie and the Argos on Thursday. Rod?
Okay, thank you, Gordon. Glenn, if your rumba can outdo that one, I'll buy you dinner, guaranteed. Well, listen, Gord just mentioned the crowd, you know, over 22,000, 22,300 Obi. Well, one thing that you had talked about, and you coached out there, the one BC having 6 home dates during the summertime is not the best for attendance.
I'll tell you what, I'd give a lot of credit to Glenn Ringdahl and the people in the front office of the BC Lions. Getting this good a crowd in the summer months in BC, it's a horrendous schedule by the commissioner's office to have them playing 6 home games by the end of August. And that's the kind of thing you need the leadership in the front office, where that particular market, you have to give them a chance. And if they can keep playing this kind of football and getting things done, maybe they can make the best of a bad situation. And I'm hoping that for their team, just for those reasons.
Keeping with the post-game dance theme, you should see Bob Abilovich do his post-game cha-cha. Do it.
Cha-cha, that's the Macarena. You know, Marty doesn't know anything.
So many things to look forward to this season. That's
Hey, I'm looking forward to Thursday night's game, by the way. We're going to have it here, and Dave Chaters has been wanting to get at Doug Flutie since the dust-up they had last season. It's going to be a very interesting game, I think. And I don't think Toronto's going to roll over at BC in this game either.
Well, we had hype building up to this game, but you can be sure with the Lions and the Argos, yeah, there'll be a lot of talk about Chaters and Doug Flutie as well. The Lions with the win, a first-place team once again. As a result, in the East, however, Toronto and Montreal tied at 3-1. Winnipeg follows up, and then the Ticats still looking for that first win. There you see BC tied up there with Edmonton again. Saskatchewan falling to 2-2 because of Calgary's first win of the season. It turned out to be a BC night at BC Place. We'll wrap it up when we come back.
The CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business. And by Gatorade. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
We were live and interactive. Hey, look who won. QB won again. Congratulations. Next game coming up on TSN. We got it for you. On Thursday, the Edmonton Eskimos and the Alouettes, it's doubleheader day. That's game 1, coming up 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, followed by the Argos and the Lions at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific Time. Sports Desk is coming up with Mike Toth. See the highlights all again. And Alfred Jackson, the number he is doing. David Mava, Adam Rita, and company, they win at 21-17. Obie and Lester doing the Macarena. I got to get out of here. From all of us here at CFL Live, thanks for watching. We'll see you Thursday night. So long.